feel like I've got a good bit to say, but I don't think. I don't know. I don't feel like I have a crazy big thing to say.
And here it is, Merry Christmas, it's the UK Christmas song. We don't have this one in the US usually. There you go, how'd you like it? How
That
did
was
you like it?
beautiful. That was
It was
really good.
beautiful? Oh no, I've hit
Very
play
moving.
on the thumbnail we've prepared. I'm glad you liked it. Merry Christmas, everybody, on this Christmas morning. It's Christmas Day, of
It is.
course, as we're watching this. Don't check, though, if you're watching it in the future. It's
Please don't.
Christmas. It's Christmas Day, like all of our Christmas episode live streams. Hi, hello, Caden. I'm joined once again by my brother, Caden. Are you
Hi,
having a
hi.
good Christmas?
I'm having a wonderful Christmas. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
woke up because it's Christmas morning
Yeah,
too. So
well,
I rolled out of
you've been
bed.
up a little bit because the episode's out and we've all watched it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I've been up
Yeah,
for
yeah.
1 hour,
Oh, I
and
see.
then I just immediately now I'm here,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was beautiful.
My wife and I also, we woke up a little before 9. We're the rare people who get this Christmas morning. Wasted time for about an hour, watch this, then, are planning to go to Dad's, of course. We got to do this stream.
Yeah.
Are you having a white Christmas over there in Florida?
It's what 70-some degrees.
Okay, that's
Uh,
good. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't some sort of apocalyptic event that might interfere with the stream today.
no, not yet.
We didn't have a white Christmas. It's very rainy.
Unfortunately.
It was a big, there's all. I feel like I was talking to my wife. This is kind of like Groundhog Day, right? Where if the groundhog sees its shadow, there's 6 more weeks of winter or whatever. It's like if the
Yeah.
Doctor Who Christmas special is bad, then Christmas is ruined, and there's 2 more weeks of fall. Before it snows, and if it's good, then Christmas is saved, and there's just a big blizzard thing. You also lost our friendly no wages bet. Would the
Yeah,
Doctor Who Christmas song be in in this episode? Which, if you don't
I
know,
had to believe.
we call Merry Xmas, everybody. That's what it's called. Probably not how you pronounce it. The Doctor Who UK Christmas song, because we don't have it in the States. If you Google Doctor Who Christmas song, the first result, or one of the top at least, is a Reddit post that is what is up with the Christmas song they always play in Doctor Who. And it's a thread of a bunch of British people going, that's just a song we have. And a bunch of Americans going, I was wondering about that one because we don't have it. But yeah, shall we get in? Joy to the world. First off, what did you think? Are you here like Shooty Gadwa? I don't know why I'm streaming this screen to you.
I think overall I liked it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Christmas was not ruined.
No, I don't think Christmas was ruined. I think it was pretty fun, light, airy. I liked some of the concepts they were going for. Some of the parts of the execution were just fine. But some of the good parts that I enjoyed, I really think I enjoyed.
Yeah, I don't think this was the best. I am pretty sure it wasn't the worst, but now that I'm come to think of it, what is the worst Christmas special? Did David Tennant regenerate on Christmas? Probably that one. I don't know, actually. It's not bad, no. I think it kind of suffers from a problem. It almost couldn't commit. It has this big section, where he's in the normal hotel for a year. And it's the plot is a little too complicated and big to just kind of have an episode about this and really look into the Doctor in one place. But this segment is a little too long to properly kind of focus on the plot, which also doesn't make any sense. I understand it, but the logic behind the plot doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure we'll spend half an hour going over that at some point. I was actually surprised. I wonder if you agree with this. I went to the Reddit like just after watching it. So like the people who had watched it within 2 minutes of it coming out and then went to immediately post on the Reddit. Might be fun to go and look at that now that it's been a few days. I mean, well, it is Christmas morning, but
Well, yeah, naturally.
Yeah. This stream's just gonna go on for a few days.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying they couldn't follow the plot, which I actually found surprising. Because I didn't have a problem following it. Villengard wants, which again, Villengard, like, come on. Villengard wants to, make a sun. Well, they want like an infinite customized energy source. So they're going to make a sun. It's going to take like 65 million years. So they need to go put the sun back in time. And they're using the time hotel to do that. I get that. There are flaws. There's some holes, but I understand that. I follow that. But I will say on the Reddit, I think the 5th comment I got to was, wife and I couldn't really understand the plot, but we are a few Christmas drinks in, so that might have a part of it. So I wonder, most people are watching this the end of Christmas, if that did have an effect. I would be curious to go back. But like you said, there was definitely a lot of good bits. It was a fairly even balance though, a bit of a mix. I will say on my rewatch, because I watched this just before the stream, I know, twice in one day. It wasn't as good. Maybe the mystery element isn't there as much, or and of course I do watch it more with the mindset of I'm about to review it, so there is that element. But it was broadly the same, I think. And actually, I've just realized my wife's not here. We're probably gonna stream for more than an hour, but I need a 1 out of 10 for the Christmas special. There we go. Go back to you. I'm wondering, how do you want to review this one then? Do you want to go over, are there any broad topics you want to go over, or do you just kind of want to start scene by scene and go over that?
Yeah, I think scene by scene is a good move. Otherwise, it'll be very mismatched all over tangents. Good to have orders.
Alex has given a ranking, but we do that at the end, so.
Yeah. I don't even know my ranking. I'll figure it out.
Oh, actually, no, there is a main point I want to talk about. I did learn this episode that Steven Moffat and I have had vastly different experiences with hotels, and I want to know if it's me or Steven Moffat, or maybe it's a British thing, right? Because I want to point out, right, the locked room in a hotel, the locked door in a hotel room being like some gateway to the future time hotel. So like people come through that door when you're not in and stay in the hotel room. Brilliant. I love that. I adore that. It's very sort of Moffat-y fairy tale in the sci-fi setting. If I ever go into a hotel room and I see that door, I'm going to be like, that's time hotel. That is fun. I love that. I have never once seen one of these locked doors in a hotel room I've stayed at.
I have, yeah.
Interesting. Where?
I don't, because it just connects to the next door room. Which
That's what my wife said. My wife said there were some in Disneyland. I think they said. Now, I've been around, right? This is probably going to sound like humble brag section, but it is relevant. In school, I did a lot of tournaments, at like state levels and stuff. So I'd stay in a lot of the small like college towns around Washington, Seattle a few times. I've been to the East Coast, DC, New York. I've done 2 trips around the Mediterranean Europe, so hotels in Italy, France, Spain. I went to Tokyo, which actually, to be fair, we didn't really stay at hotels. We stayed with someone my cousin knew, but we did stay in a spa hotel thing, the one with the wine onsen, whatever, which either you just want the what or the, oh yeah, I know that place. So like a lot of different places where hotels, I've never seen this. And I know I'm not just forgetting it, because if I went to a hotel room and there was a locked door in the room, it'd freak me out. I'd be like, what's this door? Like, is someone going to come through? I don't like this. Is there like a murderer? Is that a closet? No. So maybe I'm weird. I don't know. So that was just kind of weird. Yeah. You've seen it.
And
okay.
I think often the weird thing is if you get to open the door, is that true? I don't know. Wait, no, it might just be.
She says they're often closets, which feels a bit weird. Why? I mean, I get having the cleaning closet in one of the rooms, but what if a guest's there? That is a bit weird. But yeah, so that maybe I'm weird. Also, have you ever gotten to pick your specific hotel room? I've never. Now, to be fair, a lot of
the only thing is if like you're getting the honeymoon.
A lot of my trips are were school trips. You know, they were organized. I wouldn't have picked the room anyway. But like when we've gone or like our parents go, whatever, it's like single, double, maybe like class. You know, presidential suite, honeymoon, yada yada. I've never got what's Steven Moffat's hotel? You can. Can you be like, I want room 104?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess why not? Why not?
Yeah, I know on the road trip, especially across the country, it was made certain that because the car got unloaded because all my stuff was in the car and I didn't want to get robbed, we made sure that the floors we got were on the bottom floor.
I guess, if you say I want like 105, they'll probably give it to you. But I kind of get the impression of Steven Moffat, knowing a bit about the guy, is a fairly, at least decently well off, not really having to worry about money guy who visits the same hotels for conventions and stuff, or maybe work, that happen to have these locked doors in the rooms. He's picking his favorite room. He loves room 304 when he goes to Longleaf or something. But that was something I was like, what? Why? How is it me out of anyone that's not seen this room though?
I feel I have an opinion on that aspect of this episode.
Yes,
I do as well. Think it's a great idea, and the first time like it was made apparent that that's what's going to happen in this episode, that was very funny, and I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. But then it got a little bit under my skin that subtlety was removed, and they had to explain it and explain how clever it was like 3 separate times. I was like, guys, you had me the first time. I get it.
First off, your mic's a little loud. Can you maybe move back? Or
I'll turn me down. Yeah, there we go.
I can adjust it for them, but I can't adjust it for me. But I'd be curious for some examples, because I really liked in this episode, there are several moments, especially around the Time Hotel, where you can kind of piece it together beforehand. I'm trying to get a shot. I think just before the doctor explains it, on the front desk, it says like the Time Hotel or something. I noticed right away, all of these guests are from like totally mismatched eras.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, something's going on with time. It's also like a Moffat episode. I knew something was going on with time. There's, I don't know. I might come up with some other ones, but I know there were a few examples where I'm like, So what do you think about the subtlety then? Like, I'm curious.
So I think they didn't need to get explicit with it, because subtly they did explain what was happening. And if they were gonna put it in, I think the scene we're currently looking at was the place to do it, and kind of how they did it. In that scene, I don't have any gripes with, but it kind of kept getting revisited.
Then you couldn't realize it yourself. I don't know. I feel like they only did it once, though, and I kind of feel if the core premise of your episode that the whole plot relies on is there's a time hotel where you can visit, different rooms, is you need to explain that. And then you'll have people like me who've never seen this locked door in a hotel room and be like, what's with this random ass door that like everyone's going to?
I think I remember 3, because one was this scene, one was Joy when she got into the hotel and was like, oh, there's always that in the corner, isn't there? And then the doctor also had a moment where he said that, and it's a subtle thing, but it's I
can get the critique. I needed it once, because again, I'm not familiar with the concept of these hotel room doors, and I think especially with younger audiences being a particular focus here, like how many 8-year-olds have been to a hotel? I don't know. They probably Like, it's not a guarantee that, an 8-year-old has seen this door. Oh my gosh, sorry, I've just seen this little TV. I'm going to take back everything I've said before about this not being the worst hotel room. What is this TV? Imagine watching that from back on your bed.
Tumble.
All right. But no, scene by scene, I get what you're getting at. I don't entirely agree.
It's not earth-shattering. It's a gripe, yeah.
Yeah, going off, this is, I believe, I never watched it, but the opening credits were like the teaser we got for this episode so many months ago. I don't really have anything to say about the intro. A decent enough start. A bit somber for Christmas, some of these. Like, you literally open with World War, like the Blitz.
Yeah.
But, sometimes you gotta be a little somber to rise up. I don't mind that. I think the episode wasn't super Christmassy, despite visiting Bethlehem. But I don't know. I
would agree.
It could be more, it could be less. As I said, Christmas wasn't ruined. I definitely get the themes, but the plot got in the way of some of those themes. But hey, it was all right. It's certainly, I think, better than a lot of Moffat's late Christmas specials when they'd be doing it for like 10 years and are running out of ideas. I think that's definitely true. Feel free to stop me, by the way, if there's anything. I want to touch a little bit on Anita here, I think, because of course she's
interesting thoughts.
She's going to be a focus of the episode. What I want to
I'll be right back.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm not used to this. And I want Caden's response on the next thing I'm about to say. No, let's analyze this room, right? This is the saddest, loneliest, worst hotel room in the universe. I like to point out it does directly face another window, and that has always bothered me. Why this isn't coming up more. Like, when he was going on about the room, I thought that's what he was going to mention. Like, maybe Joy's lover was in that room or something. I don't know. Or crush, I guess. It is really sparse. Like, this is a cheap hotel, but it is putting in the effort to look fancy,
I'm not getting robbed.
Oh, you've been robbed?
I'm not getting robbed. It's good.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, it's Christmas. You wouldn't rob someone on Christmas.
Who gets robbed on Christmas?
Anita, I like, except she kind of crosses the line for me of a bit too... I don't care. I'm a manager. I've seen weird stuff,
Yeah, I think my big thought is she's very okay with a lot of crazy things.
I get the vibe. I've managed a clearly lower budget hotel, and I've seen some weird stuff. But like a lizard man with a briefcase handcuffed to his body and some random guy who you haven't seen walked in but are also clearly in this woman's room that is her room without her consent, like, I wouldn't ignore that. I don't know. Or just not even question it.
That scene doesn't even gripe me as much as the other ones.
The mop?
Yeah, the mop or the microwave or the car. Which I feel like is weird.
Yeah, go on.
Like, Joy immediately kind of starts explaining it away, too. And like, well, it's obviously a costume. And I think Anita might be in the room for that. And I could see that jump. And then Joy's like, oh, this is a weird, you're doing a thing.
Yeah. I do want to point out that's very Doctor Who to just, have the people explain away. You're smack dab in Russell T Davies, where humanity actually reacts to the alien invasions. You're not too far off, though, from just waving away an entire year of history where we were 1984, and I mean, the Orwellian stuff, not the year. You trust me, there's a humanity waves away. I don't like it, but hey, it is there. I'd also like to point out, though, that this is a costume. I mean, there is some post-effect stuff, but I've seen the old Silurian makeup, no VFX, which is basically this, a little bit different, and it looks like this. So, like, yeah, we can make convincing costumes, and, like, would you assume it's a lizard man from the dawn of time? Or is it a guy in a costume?
Yeah.
Yes. But I do want to point out, we're going a little out of order. I really do like the Silurian. Oh, come on. Where's the scene where he dies? There we go. It's like, what? I die? You haven't met the Silurians yet. I don't know if you remember them.
No. Oh, maybe.
They were introduced in Classic Who, the third Doctor story, Doctor Who and the Silurians, a title which has a history. They are, I mean, the episode explains it. They are the original inhabitants of Earth. They were around for the dinosaur times, just before the, planet crashed into Earth and we got our moon. Ignore that those weren't the same time in history at all, and neither of those were the Silurian period. Just don't question it. And then they saw, this planet coming towards Earth, and they're like, well, crud. This is bad. And they hid underground into hibernation so that the planet would crash into the world and then it'd end the world, but then eventually things would get better and they could wake up in several million years once it was all better. But of course that didn't happen. The planet crashed into Earth and we got the moon. Ignore that would be an absolutely apocalyptic event that they were predicting. Just ignore that. And then because the world didn't end, humanity evolved, and they're kind of upset about that. Yeah. And then they were reintroduced in the Modern Who a while ago in a Chibnall episode that everyone likes, but in retrospect, I think is full of Chibnall problems. Let's get to positives, though. So it was actually, the reason I like seeing this is most Silurian episodes end with the Silurians go back under their cave, underground, because humanity's too prejudiced to accept them right now. It's like, just go to sleep for a few centuries, and when you wake up, maybe then humanity will be better. And, humans know this is a problem they'll have to deal with. So for ages, people have wanted a Silurian episode that's just in the future, and, we're living together, We've seen or even just the episode that deals with that. It's the time they come out, but it works. Mm-hmm. You could even have that being a recurring thing through the season. I would adore that. But we've seen far future Earth. We see when the Earth gets destroyed, and there are trees, there are humans, there are no Silurians. We see they just never appear to be around. Yeah. This is genuinely, in the entirety of Doctor Who, the first instance I can think of a Silurian peacefully coexisting with humanity that just knows about Silurians. Aww. This is the first time. What's her face? Lady Sherlock Holmes doesn't count because she's in secret. God, what? Vastra, Madame Vastra, she doesn't count. But I was a little disappointed then in this scene to hear they found him. He clearly stumbled into the hotel and they saved his life, and he lives there now. So I was a little disappointed that Silurians just weren't a thing in this future. I will point out, though, I'm kind of surprised I didn't use it. Excellent foreshadowing that the time hotel does go back 65 million years. That's another instance of you can work it out if you need to. So that genuinely was real done. But it is very refreshing to see this guy. Does make me wonder if you could just go wake up all the other Silurians in the future. Maybe they do exist. Maybe that's what happened. They're like, hey, we accept this guy now. Why don't we just go wake up some of the others? But I do hope we revisit this in the future and just have Silurians around with humans.
I mean, there was a big moment of space racism, and the Doctor shut it down. And I know how passionate about you are.
Oh yeah, casual alien spacism.
Casual alien racism, and the Doctor didn't let it slide.
I appreciated that when he's like, he's a Silurian, don't call him a lizard man. We get scenes like that a lot. But I mean, technically, first off, he's not an alien. He is an Earthling. But there you racist. But no, I do appreciate stuff like that. Yeah, and I do wonder, actually, this might also be set up for the unit spin-off we're getting, War Between the Land and the Sea, the one with the bad title. Because that's about, I think it's Sea Devils, actually. which is a casual, not alien racism. That's just casual racism, actually. Just a lot worse when you drop the alien. Okay, tangent. They're annoying, right? Because the first episode called them Sea Devils. It was the 70s, whatever. Then I think every subsequent episode has pointed out that they probably don't call themselves Sea Devils. They're never identified in the first episode. And then they just never, no one bothers to try and figure out what they are called, except the 13th Doctor, who actually does go, oh, like, Sea Devils, like, is that offensive? Like, I'm sorry, what do you call yourself? And the Sea Devil just doesn't answer. I think he just insults the 13th Doctor. It's like, well, okay, I guess you're still a Sea Devil then. Like, I'm gonna keep calling you that if you're not gonna tell me, like, another name.
Funny.
God, it's annoying is what I get, like, branding, but come on. Baby Yoda successfully rebranded, so I bet you could rebrand the Sea Devils. Especially because they hadn't shown up for, like, 50 years. Where were we? I think we'd passed the intro.
One of my first thoughts in the episode,
go on.
Right when the TARDIS lands and we get this, is that this set is crazy.
It's gorgeous.
It's huge and so
love
cool.
it.
The whole episode has great sets.
Immediately, I told my wife, I love this set and I want it to be the next Enterprise. So much sci-fi these days is, white panels, very bland, very generic, including 32nd century sci-fi on the inside in Star Trek. Like, I want to show you, actually. So this set is very specific to, let's go Star Trek, Starfleet, HQ, Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, of course, Star Trek, big sci-fi. Interior has a very similar aesthetic, but it is white. I think it's Federation HQ. Starfleet HQ. Star Trek Discovery. I'm gonna send a while because this is actually a good point I want to make. 32nd century interior. You can go ahead and talk about sunflowers or something. I doubled up on interior. No, please go ahead. Talk about it.
I don't know the name for what I'm thinking, but like when you get there have been certain spaceships, and I also don't have any examples of them, like futuristic hubs, but you also get this like classic vintage regal sort of look that is marble and gold and all these things, but it's totally futuristic, but it's royal. And it's such
anything like that?
Aesthetic.
Anything like the Enterprise? Vaguely.
Kind of close. Good colors, yeah.
Yeah, no, you want regal.
Time Hotel, yeah, it's got that grand, like, red tapestries and the woods and the gold.
I love the carpet. Season 5. I won't spend too much longer on this, I promise. Oh my gosh, I haven't even named these episodes. Federation HQ. Come on. Oh no, you'd be like way down here. I don't think I'm gonna find it in time. But basically, they have essentially the exact same aesthetic. However, it's white. It's the most generic looking thing in the world. I've talked about before. I love that show's aesthetic on the outside of their ships and stuff. Not the inside. This is the last episode I'm going to blitz through. I'm not going to find it. Just the beige improves so much. The carpet. Give me more spacey things with carpeting. It's homey. It's cozy. I want to live here. I want to spend 7 seasons here. I could see the critique that it's very contrived, like it's obviously put together by someone thinking about how it would look to be all cohesive and stuff. I'd counter it's a hotel, so yes. But more broadly, I think a lot of the show is Joy's outfit is very, I'm the star of a Christmas special. God, I'm never gonna get that shot of the hotel back. I don't mind it. Every now and then it's a bit, I'm contrived. But generally, I'm liking it in the direction, or I guess set design of these episodes. I mean, the bar is also very, like, everyone's outfits, if we just look at all of these little thumbnails, everyone's outfits, the color of the entire scene is designed to fit in, except the Silurian, who is probably specifically designed to not fit in because he saw Silurian in a hotel in modern-day London. You know, like, there's not and it's very different to, especially older shows. But, Doctor Who should change. Doctor Who should look different. I've said before, I love that every era of Doctor Who, every decade, looks like it is from that decade. Every single one. Except 2010 to 2020. To me, doesn't. Maybe that's because of, how old I was. But that's a little... Like, over time, it might look there. It is somewhere between, like, Russell T. Davies and Russell T. Davies, I guess. Like, before... Well, I guess the, 9th, 10th Doctor and the 13th, 14th, 15th. But, I like that we could look back and be like, oh, yeah, this is what television looked like in the 20s. God, that's weird to say. Well, one day we're gonna have Doctor Who in the 60s and be like, this is what and I'm gonna be there for it. Like, this is what Doctor Who looked like in the 60s. Oh no. Doctor Who's centenary is gonna be a moment for me.
I think as we're looking at what we're looking at here, I've also got to say, from the get-go of the episode, Trev is nearly the star of the show, in my opinion. I love him.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people loving Trev. I'm not as instantly sold on him. I mean, he's fun. No, don't get me wrong.
Love him.
No, he was good. We have a lot of great lines. This episode is filled with lines. I'm going to kick myself for forgetting to mention, because I don't have notes this time. I had to watch this upstairs, and I don't have my phone. I left it at an in-laws for Christmas. So I couldn't take notes. But... we've got the line of like, I like to come into an investigation with my mind completely blank. Already hilarious in the context. And then just I don't think that's necessary in your case, Trev. The doctor, right? Ncuti Gatwa is the Christmas doctor. I don't know how this happened, but I mentioned before, might have been in Watch Along, might have been in the live reviews, might have just been privately. But the general fan consensus is that Ncuti Gatwa isn't, like, the 15th Doctor's not done yet. No one can really rank him, because, like, only half the character of the Doctor is there so far. They're blaming it on short seasons. They're blaming it on the fact that he wasn't really in 2 episodes. And I also will fight bitterly that Dot and Bubble was not a Doctor Light episode. I'm not going to go too far into it right now. But for me, in Church and Ruby Road, he was brilliant. I've said plenty of times before, that scene in the end of Church where the Doctor goes off the wall and, like, stabs the Goblin King through the chest. It's very physical and harsh and brutal because of what he did. Like, the whole sad scene with, like, all those kids gone, and he has a moment of, like, no, you won't do this because I said so. It's sort of a, like, 10th Doctor going off the rails thing. And I said that is the 10th Doctor's, Christmas invasion, the last 5 minutes, where he just perfectly sums up, here's what the 10th Doctor is, here's what my whole era is going to be, here's the arc I'm going to go on over the next 3 seasons and specials. Like, this is everything I am. This is the show for the next 4 years. And it's a masterclass. I said that is what Ncuti Gatwa just had, except I'm going to need 3 seasons before I can really tell you what this character is, because it's something new and exciting. And, like, after 15 Doctors, I didn't really expect, like, something totally fresh, a new baseline. I just, with 15, I can't even now say, well, he's kind of like a bit of, like, 4 and 7 or something, like, he's 15. I can't do that comparison. Yeah. And then that was gone in season 1. Like, that aspect of the character just wasn't there. And here, it's not as strong, but it's back. back a bit. Like he's got a dark side. He's got that bite. He's got a little twinge of being a jerk sometimes, or like not looking at the little people, which I can complain about done too much. When we get to the 12th Doctor, I'll spend a lot of time complaining about it, but it's just here it's adding that little bit where it's working for me. It's like, here's that bit that's missing. Here's what's making 15 like a done, and complete. I don't know if, yeah.
I liked the elements that we explored in the character, and I kind of like what it kind of set up. And I really hope they continue to explore it in season 2. If we get down enough to like the simple aspect of like, there's this big moment where he's like, oh, I don't have any chairs in this artist.
God,
I think we can zone in on that, and I don't know. I want to see him explore that aspect.
Desperately hope that is set up for putting furniture in what would become the best TARDIS if it looked like a home. Right now, you are Matt Smith and Capaldi's TARDIS. You are bottom of the barrel. You're the worst one. Just put some furniture and you could become Peter Capaldi in Peter Capaldi's TARDIS. You're God tier. You give me this all the time. This is the only thing I want.
And especially with the whole theme of like, the Doctor spent a year in one place.
I would like to put a pin in this, if that's all right, till we get to that episode, because I have a lot to say on it. It's a very different thing. And I expect us to have very different perspectives, which is interesting. But no, I will say that is depth that was missing. It didn't necessarily have to be that, but this is the depth that I think the character was really missing in season 1. But for some reason, he gets on Christmas. Like, I'm not saying he's bad, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying Shooty is bad. Shooty's great. But the character has been missing that half when it's not Christmas. He's the Christmas Doctor so far. I really hope that changes, but he's Christmas Doctor. We didn't mention it. I adore this bath coat.
It's a really good costume.
The thumbnail for this episode, which you can't see now, but I sent you on Discord a while ago, is a promo art for the special that came out recently. And Alex and I were struggling what to do, and this picture came out, and I went, that is the thumbnail. I can find it, probably, unless Google Images is now broken. Doctor Who Joy to the World. Not TARDIS Wiki. I was looking that up for other reasons. Here we go. It is this little piece of promo art. There we go. As soon as I saw that, I don't think he's ever wearing that coat. I think they've color corrected his coat.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of a Doctor with a silhouette, with a look, like, his coat, this sort of V-necky shirt, and these high-waist pants.
Yeah.
That gets tweaked to be Christmassy. Some people might complain it's contrived. Look, I liked a lot of what John Nathan Turner did in the 80s. I like the contrived outfits. We should change it up every now and then. And I want a Doctor that just has a Christmassy version of their outfit. That's beautiful to me. And in here, I love it's his outfit, but it's now a night robe. Yeah. I love that. I want more of this. The 12th Doctor had a very similar thing where he had a silhouette, and often he would literally wear a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and some jeans. But you wouldn't notice because it still invokes his fundamental silhouette. And it's those vibes. I want that semi-contrived, this is the Doctor's bathrobe outfit.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I love it.
Yeah. And Russell, I get what Russell was doing in season 1 where he had a bunch of different outfits. It's a bunch of different outfits because he's a normal person. Some of them work for me, some of them don't. I kind of like this better. It's a bunch of different outfits, but he's still it's his look.
Yeah.
And you can change it up every now and then, but this is his look. Mm-hmm. $20 from David C. Working today, so can't stay. I am sorry. We tried not to schedule it on the holidays, but we were hoping most people would have winter break, but Saturday just doesn't work for me. But here's a New Year's contribution. Love your commentary for both Trek and Doctor Who. Thank you, David C. Hopefully we're going long enough that you get off work and then join in the stream again. That was fun when we did Space Babies. Yeah. Thank you also for pulling me out of the red this month because YouTube paid me a few days ago pretty much exactly how much I was in the red. So always lovely when it's like, I really need like $100, you know, just for this month. And then I see a YouTube payment. It's like, yes, exactly what I needed.
Christmas miracle.
It was a Christmas miracle. Yeah, no, Shruti was great. I liked a lot of the jokes. I like he just has a thing that hones in fresh milk.
Yeah.
Very welcome. Thank you, David C. It is very much appreciated. Let's see. We talked about Trev. Anything in this conversation you remember you want to talk about?
No, I just liked the dialogue. I liked how Trev was written as a character, and the Doctor's interactions with Trev were very fun and charming.
I mean, it's Moffat. Moffat has a lot of good dialogue. Sometimes Moffat can get a bit too clever, but he was good here. There were, if there were instances of dialogue I didn't like, it was like 2. And I don't remember them. Look, furniture, some paintings. I don't see how they can do it. Like, where would you? I hope. One can hope. They'll find a way. Going on, you already kind of complained about this scene. Talking about everything.
This seems the least egregious for me. I feel like they did their job here. Yeah. It just got revisited, and then I don't know. From a writing standpoint, irks me.
I want to talk about, though, if the 15th Doctor was an abstract painting.
That's it?
I saw... No, we're going on to this. I saw when I took one of my history classes in high school. We did a bit on art of, I think it was the 20th century. Whenever you had, those drawings with the blue, red, and yellow cubes, the ones where you're like, this is just a bunch of cubes. And it was a 4-part panel. I've never been able to find it. If you can find this, email it to me. Email in the description. It was a 4-part panel. It was a picture of a cow, like a drawing of a cow. And then the 4th picture was one of those pictures of squares, right? And in between were 2 pictures that slowly morphed the cow into the pictures of the squares. And it's like, this picture of squares is a cow. And you look at it and you're like, it's a bunch of squares. But in the 4 panel, I looked at it and I went, it's a cow. It's like, I see it. Those squares are the cow. I get it now. And I'm like, I want that, not the 4 poster. I want the cow square picture in my house. Like, it's just those colored squares. I'm like, it's a cow. How I have never seen it. It makes sense to me. And I loved it more than anyone else in class that day. I was like, no, I would hang that in my house. And everyone looked at me weird. Genuinely, if you can find that 4-panel cow into the square art, send it to me. Because, hey, I just noticed wheelchair users. That's nice. I will not go off about how it's weird in the future. This is something comes out. It's a weird balance between but we're in the future, so why, and representation, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, did you notice this door when you watched the episode? Bilbo Baggins' Hobbit door. I want to go in the Hobbit door.
I've still never seen The Hobbit, but that is...
If the 15th Doctor was a door.
Was a door.
No. You've ever seen The Hobbit? I mean, that's not too surprising, I guess. I also wondered how you lock a tent, but that's a bit of a nitpick. But it's just, this whole room is gorgeous. This is either a very large set, like a 2-story full room set, or it's doing an incredible job of faking being an enormous set.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't know Mitch is testament. This stonework. We need more stones and carpet in the future. Carpet, wood. I think it's coming into fashion a little bit. Maybe it's just because I've watched Dot and Bubble in this, you know? But, like, again, that Star Trek, which is the very distant future, is doing cozy a lot. They have their, you know, white, very uncozy. But some of their newer seasons had, like, a very cozy bar room that was, like, a fireplace on the spaceship and, like, a wood and warm tones. I think the style's coming in, and I'm loving it.
It's my favorite.
It's hard to imagine this becoming generic. And, like, I know it could. If everything was this color scheme, it would become generic. But there's so much you can do with wood, carpet, stone.
Yeah.
I adore this hotel.
This scene we're looking at right here.
Okay.
With the whole setup and introducing Trev as a character, and Trev did end up becoming, of course, sort of one of the main characters. But the second that they gave him the briefcase and he was going to be killed, I was utterly shocked. I didn't think they were going to do it, and then they did, and I was so sad because I was like, oh, so he's just gone for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, there was a lot of sadness this Christmas special. It almost feels like a Russell T Davies one, where he's like, all right, Christmas. Like, yes, a Christmas tree will attack Jackie, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But also a third of the population is going to stand on the roof. That's not fun. And there were elements of not fun Russell T Davies Christmas special in here. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it felt more of a Russell than a Moffat Christmas. It was like a collab. Almost like these two men are both in senior positions in this episode.
Yeah, weird.
Almost. I don't know. We never have had a Moffat Christmas under Russell until now. Incidentally, this is apparently Moffat's, most likely his final foray into Doctor Who, his final script. Which apparently he has also been saying since literally before the reboot, when he did Curse of Fatal Death. More understandable then, because they literally weren't making Doctor Who. Like, that was probably the last ever episode of Doctor Who at the time. But apparently he has said that many, many times. But, he is, it's a little more credible now. Well, it's vastly more. Yeah, I know what I remember about this scene is my wife going with this, like, dissolve effect going, that's a good effect. And then me going, this is the Thanos snap again. Don't get me wrong, it's done well.
I had the same thought.
Yeah, talking about something becoming generic.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's cliched, but it's well done. It doesn't ruin the episode.
Yeah.
It's a little tiring. But my wife never got into Marvel, so this is probably genuinely the first time they have seen the Thanos snap. There you go. Always a first time for. I'm sorry. I just love this outfit. Yeah. It's getting me to like an outfit that involves leather. That's a tough sell.
Yeah.
We've got the intro again. I do think that was fun. Putting the intro at the start.
In my opinion, with all the context.
For once, usually it's like tiring.
Yeah.
There are 2 repeated scenes in this episode, and they were both good. I mean, the next one's way better with more context, but we are getting to that. Look, even this room is like put together in. I do like this. I do. I don't know if I like it as much in a more realistic and grounded show, but in Doctor Who, it's the perfect level of like, this could exist.
Yeah.
But like, especially this era, it's that slight bit of whimsy. This is perfect for this era of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely didn't think I'd go into this stream praising this era of Doctor Who. I've had some critiques on the backhand, but it's turned into visually. This is a great. This is like exactly the shake-up Doctor Who needs. If you make this visual shake-up and translate it into everything else, you've got a lot of very happy people on Reddit. And isn't that the goal of life?
That's always the goal, yeah.
Those hands are really well done. I want to check. So we've seen Silurians in Modern Who before, fairly recently. I think they wear gloves.
Ooh.
So this makeup, okay, a little more modern than that three-eyed fish man. Casual alien racism, I know. Call me a hypocrite. Yes, they do wear gloves. I said call me a hypocrite. I deserve it. Say it! Say it now!
You're a hypocrite!
Thank
You're
you.
a hypocrite.
Thank you. Oh, no, look it. Here we go. This is a beautiful picture. Well, yeah, it's effectively the same design. But they've touched it up a little bit. This is actually, if I were to complain, it does feel a little more contrived to look good on TV. And I think a large part of that is, I've seen these two.
Yeah.
But like that, if that's my biggest complaint about the visuals is, so you're doing something good in an episode full of visuals you're supposed to notice. That's my one complaint. But it's still good, as far as redesigns go, like it's a 60-year-old show, it's way better than the last redesign, which don't ask me how they went from three-eyed fish people to this, but they do. Look, even this painting of like London on fire goes into the room. What about this scene?
The introduction of Joy. I mean, I have some opinions on Joy, I guess.
All right, we can talk about Joy. Just let me... There you go. That's a good photo for Joy. Played by my wife's favorite Bridgerton actress, apparently.
Oh, she's in Bridgerton? I didn't know that.
Apparently, yes.
Well, she's also in Dairy Girls, which is a different show that I don't know if I should keep it hidden how much I adore that show, but truly
Dairy
great.
What's it? I actually want to know what their show Dairy Girls is about. Is it about a bunch of like it's that game we play with the Doctor Who titles, but I don't know what it is. I imagine like colonial American age like women who turn butter and milk cows. That's the show.
See, was initially exactly what I thought too, but it is a
hardcore sci-fi horror.
It's a teenage group of girls who are friends, and they're in Northern Ireland in a town called Derry. And so it's literally
I've heard of Derry.
This group of girls.
It's a show for teenage girls. No, fair enough. Fair enough.
So I had to recalibrate in my mind this character, but it's funny. Joy's kind of similar. But yeah, I felt like I got smacked in the face by that.
I mean, she did well.
Yeah, I like Joy. I think I really liked Joy in the middle of the episode. I was neutral in the beginning, and I kind of left neutral.
You liked when she wasn't actually Joy? She was like a Villengard algorithm.
I really liked the scene where the entire progression of the scene of learning about her mother and her feelings on that and all that stuff. I thought that was a really well seen, and she did great in it.
Oh yeah, no, she did do great as an actress.
I was pretty fine with the rest of it.
I mean, I didn't pay too close attention to Joy because I went in knowing this is the one-off Christmas companion. I mean, I know the actress for, well, I guess spoilers, it's a girl. The actress for next season's companion, and it's not her. So, I'm like, yeah, it's our one-off. I will say it didn't end how I thought it would end. I was pretty gosh darn close. As soon as her mom dying recently got brought up, I'm like, this episode ends with the Doctor taking Joy to the hospital during COVID, if you didn't pick up on that one, and she gets to see her mom before she dies. I'm like, that's the end of the episode. I even turned to my wife, who was watching the episode, tearing up when she was saying her mom died during COVID. I'm like, I think I know how this one ends. Yeah, kind of. I don't know. We'll get there. But yeah, what about this scene then with the Doctor and the Silurian? Anything? We kind of talked a bit about the jokes.
I get a lot of the notes I have are at the end of the scene.
All right.
Which I guess is the next scene when they're diffusing the thing. But this one, yeah, I'm pretty fine with.
Here's plot hole kind of one coming up naturally. I mean, this might not be a plot hole. This sets up a mystery. The starseed will bloom and the flesh will rise. And that's the mystery. That's what they want. That's what they're chanting. Come to think of it, a bit odd that they are it's theatric. It's Villengard. It's capitalistic military. Sure, I get that. What's the flesh? And don't say that man's... I need a bleep on call. What is the flesh?
I mean, could it be... Joy?
My wife thought it was the people that get like sucked into the algorithm and they rise with the sun. They're not flesh though, was my critique, and I'm not really sure that was the plan. I can't. Okay, we'll get maybe toward the end, but I don't really know if it was Villengard's plan for like the people to take over the sun or not. Yeah. But that kind of feels, that's giving me the vibes. At best, it's a line that technically, if you really think about it, you can get what they were going for, but it's just there to sound mysterious. At worst, it's just there to sound mysterious. Which was disappointing, especially from Moffat. Like, I know when he does like the big series arcs, his plots can be Swiss, you know, as to say, very full of holes. Yeah. But you know, for something like that, that was the starseed will bloom, and yeah, I'm not getting. It's just the starseed will. That's a bit obvious, I guess. It's the star. It's gonna bloom. Yeah. I don't know. You probably. I don't know. You probably could have come up with something. I'm sure I had a point, and I can't remember if I'm trying to come up with something or not. Yeah. Going on. There. Here you go. Here's sort of the next scene, where again, I will start here. The Doctor, as a character again. I mean, Ncuti is done great in like everything the Doctor's done, but the Doctor as a character, again, shown here with like, 20 seconds. You know what that means? 19 seconds to look at the thing. He's a little colder and like not just doing like, Joy, I'm going to close it in 19 seconds. But I will say a lot of people like the Doctor being a dick. A lot of people see that as a core tenet of the Doctor. And I genuinely just don't like watching people be dicks. I mean, I love the War Master series. You know, you can do it right. Surprise, surprise, the War Master's a bit of a dick is an understatement. But I should have said, don't say the flesh is that man's French. Damn. Or French, sorry. But you can say damn and ass on Doctor Who now. I'm fine. Yeah, you can. Donna says arse. I know. Oh yeah. I know. But no, he's there. You know, I think you can have a little bit. I'm okay with him doing a Doctor who has, you know, you said this Doctor is very clearly going into being distant, and he's possibly actively trying to push people away because he doesn't want to get connected. So it's definitely in character. But it's at least adding missing depth here that the character needed. Yeah. Was this one of the scenes you had stuff to talk about, or are you specifically waiting desperately for the next scene we both want to talk about?
Well, the end of this scene when the Doctor barges into the room.
Yes, the next scene.
Okay, now, I didn't know if that was considered...
No, you can do that if you want. I'm probably done here.
I think it's one of them where... It's the only other scene that happens twice, right? This and the intro happened twice. And the Doctor, I think it's way better the second time you watch it, because without context, there's no reason he needs to be so angry at himself for not explaining anything. It's like he totally lashes out at him, which makes sense the second time after we have context and the growth of the character and all that. But on its own, it's just like, you don't need to be yelling at yourself so hard when you understand it.
Agree it's better the second time. I'm going to disagree with basically everything else you said. I'm curious. I don't think it makes more sense for the past Doctor to be angrier when we have the context, because he still doesn't. He doesn't know what he's about to do. I maybe want to elaborate that. I'll give you a chance to defend yourself, but I'm not sure I understand that aspect. If you don't want to defend yourself, that's fine.
No, I didn't know if you were going to continue.
Okay.
Well, like, in the regards of the character, both times it doesn't need to happen. Specifically because, it's the exact same interaction. But, like, he's he needs himself to come in and give himself the code, and he understands it's going to happen. And then my interpretation comes in, gives him the code, and then he's like, all right, how do I get the code? And I feel like it's understood, and he even explains it in the episode later that you don't get the code. The code sort of almost comes from nowhere. But then
yeah, that one was a little weird. It's like, how do I get the code? Well, you just did.
And the doctor should know. Yeah, I think the doctor should know that. But instead, he's going to lash out at himself thematically in a way that just so happens to coincide with the rest of the episode. It's a story beat that I think there's a little bit of a flaw in, and I'm okay with.
That line is definitely weird. The best interpretation is he's angry and just kind of saying stuff. The much more, how do I become you? Like, how do I get back? What do I do? Is, that works. But I don't think that's what he's angry about. I will say, one, I think the Doctor does regularly get frustrated when he is the one who doesn't know the future. Because, he's so used to, like, knowing what's going to happen in, like, a time context.
Yeah.
And that's just gotta be frustrating. But the more underlying thing is, there's two aspects I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the positive one first that makes the episode work very well. Is that the Doctor, for the past, 19 years, if I'm doing my math right, since the 9th Doctor, has been a character who is very distant, is very conscious of, in their old age, their companions leave them, has had a very strong self-hatred of themselves, especially the 11th Doctor would see the worst version of themselves, who would be the murderer of death, the bad guys, the bringer of death, the oncoming storm. And that doesn't forgive the good he's doing for everyone else. He's essentially a soldier, and he kind of knows he is, but he desperately doesn't want to be. And, the Doctor has just had a companion leave, again, for, God, the 30th time, I don't know, a lot. And so that's a very raw thing for him. And that's the anger that's coming in, is he isn't actually angry about this situation. This was just he boiled over. Like, I don't know, his frustration at not being told what's going on. He finally could literally shout at himself about all these things he's feeling. And that works well.
I think the scene...
And that's depth. That's depth to the character. That's good. That's what he's
totally
been missing. The Christmas Doctor is shining. It is Christmas. I'll let you respond to that. Yeah.
And everything that comes from it. But the way that they got there, I didn't think we were going to arrive there. I didn't even see it coming on the horizon. And then it blew up.
Yeah.
I think it felt like it came out of left field a bit.
I now would like to critique that a little bit, because I'm a little worried seeing it. And this is why I thought we'd have very different reactions. Which we are, not for the reasons I thought. You have, of course, been watching with me for some of the old stuff, 9th, 10th Doctor. There's a good many seasons, like 10 seasons, 11 seasons, 12 seasons, until you get from there to here.
Yeah.
No, it was 12. No, it's 12, yeah. I have, of course, watched all those seasons. I'm very familiar with them. And the critical context is kind of the 60th anniversary, which I will go as spoiler-free as possible here. But the Doctor basically stays in that state of what I described, time war trauma, we'll call it, through the 12th Doctor. The 12th Doctor, as an episode, it's the Heaven Sent, Hell Bent, that kind of feels like it wraps up the Time War arc pretty cleanly. The destruction of Gallifrey, the storyline that started gets kind of resolved. And there's still more that, the Doctor still has that trauma stuff. Then, Chris Chibnall comes along with the 13th Doctor. And he initially tries to do something quite different. He kind of tries to give Doctor Who that change it needs. Don't get me wrong, I love the Time War arc, but it's 10 years long. we need a shakeup. You know, we just had Avengers Endgame. We need something new, or we're going to become what Marvel is now.
Yeah.
Boom, burn. But Chibnall came, and he's like, season 11, all new monsters, you know, radical new look for the TARDIS, first female Doctor. Jodie was very much pretty happy. She had like a socially awkwardness, but she's very bubbly, especially in that first season. It is more of a return to a bit of a happier Doctor. I might be misremembering some darker parts that I think come later with Jodie. It has been a while since season 11, but that's largely it. And then, of course, Chibnall isn't well received too much. I don't want to prescribe motivations I don't know for Chibnall, but it's noteworthy. Season 1 made the point of being all new monsters. Season 2 is the return of the Master. It destroys Gallifrey off screen again after we just resolved that. It has Daleks, it has Cybermen, it feels, we don't know this for a fact, but it feels like a massive overcorrection of, you know, season 11. I don't remember the figures exactly, but, you know, the fan reception at the very least was not the best. I'm pretty sure The Woman Who Fell to Earth, I think, was like the highest rated episode of Doctor Who. It's up there. But I believe those really fell in the ratings, which, you know, that's a whole nother matter, how good are the ratings actually. Mm-hmm. And of course, I mentioned, you know, Gallifrey gets destroyed again off screen. This is why Gallifrey is destroyed now. It's obviously that has an effect on 13, right? We're going to ignore some controversial quality of writing things for Chibnall, but the Doctor is now in the essentially exact same traumatized state as before. She didn't destroy Gallifrey, you know, not this time, but we have that same trauma. She's now traumatized again. It really doesn't show. He means it to, but we have that. We then have Flux. I think you get a reference to this where half of the remaining universe is destroyed. Remember in the classics, a quarter of the universe was destroyed because the Doctor failed to stop it. Mm-hmm. Tom. But, you know, that is massive. The Doctor has also learned a lot of spoilery things I am not bringing up. You know, because, well, I explained, like, Timeless Child stuff to you. Yeah. And so Russell T. Davies comes in and is like, right, we've been doing this for, like, 15 years at this point. Like, we need the Doctor can't be traumatized. Some stuff has to change. And so the entire point of the 14th Doctor is, I'm going to be hazy around the details, but like, right, I need to sit down and retire and just have a good think. Because I've literally never done that since I was the first Doctor. Let's ignore the fact you have. We'll get back into that later, and there's a line of dialogue. But I am retiring. I am working through the fact that half the universe, my home planet, and like everything I know about myself is not true. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to live with Donna, and I'm going to get through this. And that is why 15, especially at the start of the season, is so much more emotionally mature and so much more happy-go-lucky, as he's learned to live with his trauma. And it was a promising, like, okay, we're done. We had Angsty Doctor. It was great, but it's been 15 years, and we've kind of been running on fumes for 5 of those. Like, we should have wrapped this up 5 years ago. And then I mentioned, you know, he's a little wary of taking on Ruby. Makes sense. You know, do I want to get back into this? There's worry, but he does. You know, he gets over that very quickly. And then they destroy the entire universe directly because of the Doctor's travels, and also it was stuff before his therapy anyway, so he can never escape his past. Yes, they undo it, but 15, and adding this scene is kind of falling back into that traumatized Doctor that the general consensus of the fandom is, you know, Russell still got a lot of good in him. You know, he wrote Dot and Bubble. There's plenty of good in this season. He did write Dot and Bubble, right? Yes, he did. You know, he did good. He had a traditional failing finale. People are complaining about execution of a lot of last season, but Doctor Who needs to change. It's been in the hands of the same 3 guys for 19 years now. It's gotten to the point where when someone complains about Doctor Who, it is very common on the Reddit to get the thing, well, it's Doctor Who. It's always been like this. And, often they're right, like, whether it's a valid critique or not. Like, yeah, Doctor Who has always had whatever this thing happens to be, since the Ninth Doctor is what they really mean, generally. But it's like, what has happened to the show with regeneration baked into its DNA to the show has always been like this, has seeped into the fandom? Yeah. If you look at Doctor Who in the 60s and the 80s, 20 years apart, not only are they fully different shows, there are like 3 or 4 totally different shows in between the 60s and 80s Doctor Who. There's that time where it was like a military alien invasion show and the Doctor worked for the UN military. Like, what happened? There's that time it was gothic horror for a few years. Then there's that time it's more comedy focus and like Douglas Adams wrote it. Like, there's so much. And the general thing is, like, if Doctor Who doesn't get someone who's not like one of those 3 guys in pretty soon, it won't be around in like 10 years time. And I mean, maybe we're wrong, of course, we're predicting the future, but it needs change is generally the feel, because it's like, this could be good. As I said, this is the depth we needed, but I've seen 5 regenerations do this, Yeah. I'm like, you can probably still tell good stories, but even if it's the best story ever, it's like, I did see this, I want a modern classic Doctor who's just going around with their mates, And so
I'm hoping that's what the foundation of this is setting up.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see for the next season. Is the Doctor's getting a bunch of mates and he starts to have fun.
But we're not really setting that up. Like, maybe we're just saying it's an arc where he gets past that, right? What the hell was 14, Russell? Like, you literally have a whole regeneration dedicated to therapy. Like, Russell, why did I like what gets me is I don't understand why he wrote that. Why did he write a Doctor, an entire generation that got rid of all his trauma, had the future Doctor come in and say, hi, I am now not traumatized because you went to therapy. I'm better now. And then, like, instantly traumatize him. I don't understand the narrative point. And so, again, it kind of feels like, what was the point of being the 14th Doctor? And it could go differently. Maybe they will pull off some amazing traumatized thing. But it's like, I'm hungry for new. I'll take Dot and Bubble and, I'll take these 8 out of 10s, but the more we get these 8 out of 10 seasons, you're going to be losing numbers. It's like, you're going to do what every other show does. And it's like, you've just been going too long doing the same thing. This is the show that, like, changes literally everyone behind the cast. It's like, no, we're new now. And it's I want that. And so I like that we're adding depth to the character, but I wish it was something. It doesn't even have to be new. Give me what the 3rd Doctor went through. It's been a while, like, that sort of thing. Hey, speaking of what the 3rd Doctor went through, we have a year at a hotel now. But yeah. And also I'd like to point out, Ruby still loves the Doctor. Like, their departure was literally, Doctor, I love you. Ruby, I love you too. And I'm not going to say I love my granddaughter. Like, if you come from Empire of Death to this, I feel like it's going to be even more jarring. Like, why, especially when he's just a year at the hotel, why not call Ruby? It's like, hey, I've got literally nothing going on. I get he doesn't want to drag her back into the lifestyle, but he himself literally can't enter the lifestyle. Like, hey, Ruby, you want to, like, maybe come to board night game? Like, why not? Why not? He's literally doing that with Anita. Like, if his problem is getting people dragged into his lifestyle, don't go to Anita. Don't get a new woman. Go to Ruby. Go to, like, okay, maybe not Donna. She's kind of with 14. Why not? Go have board game nights with David Tennant,
I could kind of see it in the sense, like, because he knows he's going to go back. He literally has to.
But then, like, when he's future 15, don't visit Ruby in 2025. Like, he has a time machine. Just visit Ruby in 2026. Like, he's not planning on visiting Ruby anyway. I don't see the problem. Like, it's who knows what the future has, but there's been a lot of retreading, even like, again, with Russell writing away the trauma, then writing it in. I was like, what? Why? I want to know what the point was. Who knows? Who knows? He just likes making clones of David Tennant live a happy life. But no, again, we haven't even talked about the added layer of, you know, the Doctor screaming, this is why no one likes you, and this is why everybody leaves you. Mm-hmm. With the brilliant added context that he just left a woman who loves him as his choice.
Yeah.
There we go. That was brilliant. And that's the added, like, oh. And then it's the Doctor, of course, spending most of that year knowing that he has to go be chastised with himself about everybody hating him and leaving him. And he's basically about to do probably the same thing to that woman, at least as far as he's concerned. It's like, I'm about to make this woman feel like that because that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hear myself yell about for the exact opposite. And he's also right.
Yeah, the second time the scene comes through, I really do.
Yeah. That's Moffat. That's that's Moffat. It was brilliant, and it again. This could still be an incredible story. I'm worried I'll get the same vibes of okay, but I did it. You know,
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. I actually missed the detail the first time that the hotel he has to go to is New York. But then we have this, it's not even a third. It's like a fourth of the episode. This is way more of the episode in my head.
Yeah.
There, he's in New York. It's 8 minutes of him and Anita.
Efficient.
That, in my head, it's half the episode.
Yeah, I thought it was at least a third, a little more. But I mean, I guess it's a quick sequence.
It's an interesting break. I really am curious what the goal of the structure of this episode was. Because I'm not even saying it failed that goal. It's just, it's weird to have like an 8-minute detour. It's what I was saying before, where now knowing that it's only 8 minutes, the plot is way too complex to dedicate to this, which I think was the most interesting bit. But this was too long. It's not just a blip. Like, it is now a core part of the episode. And it's just, you can't really flesh out that plot enough. I kind of want a version of this episode where the plot was trivial. Like, once he got the code, he could basically take the briefcase and solve it. And so you had, like, 30 minutes here. And you had more, just, like, the Doctor and this woman.
Yeah. I think you could have dedicated it you could have dedicated episodes, you know, like the amount of stuff that could have in a whole year of the Doctor being in the same place.
Will actually, that is basically Power of 3. I've realized that's a Chibnall episode, but that was a long ago. I will say already it is kind of vibes on. It's not 73 yards, but there are vibes. Yeah. There are similar vibes, pretty close together. But it was still, like, the best part of the episode. I think if you had dedicated a whole episode to this, I would have said the same thing, but gone, it was still different and very good. I feel like there's a point I really wanted to bring up, and then we talked about other stuff. Did that TV move? Between shots? Oh no, where's it? Disney, what just happened? You're giving me different frames. Gosh dang it, Disney. Ruining Doctor Who, as always. God, what did I want to say? Chibnall, 73 yards. Yada yada. That might come back to me. What do you want to say about this, anything, this whole sequence? Let's just give this whole year. Oh no, I remembered, sorry. I am pretty sure, right, that next season does take place in the year 2025. We know the finale takes place on a date that feels like when the next season will come out. So it seems like it's going for modern day again, and basically every season has been set in the modern day, ignoring the fact that Doctor Who's actually still set like a year in the future. I'm pretty sure that's still true. Remember when the Ninth Doctor went in? I think that is still true. We have rebooted the season count, but we are still suffering from the Ninth Doctor missing by a year. Anyway, the point is, this does kind of mean nothing obvious can really happen in next season to modern day Earth, because there are, 15s here.
Yeah.
And unless he goes, I remember this, I would have loved a scene, and I told Alex, it might have killed the pacing. Season 2 was like filmed at the same time as season 1. They know what was in it. If there's some big event in modern day Earth, I would have loved essentially a shot of like they're on the porch and like a nuclear bomb mushroom cloud is in the distance, and he's like, what's that? He's like, I'll take care of that later, don't worry. You know, like, so, and then in the episode, he's like, right, time to deal with, he's like, what's gonna happen, doctor? Why are we back home? Are we visiting my family? No, a nuclear device is about to go off. What? How do you know that? And then it's like, yeah, or something, a spaceship's about to crash, you know?
Yeah.
Play it off as like his doctor senses, you know, he never tells the companion. But also, the 14th Doctor is living in 2025, presumably, unless he's had a horrible death. So there are going to be 3 versions of the Doctor in just living in 2025 London.
Place to be.
It's the place to be, you know. I wonder if this is like a goal. He's like, how many doctors can I get? How many can I get living on modern day Earth? I mean, heck, it's next Christmas special. He just needs another. And then you got... Actually, yeah, there will be a Doctor in Christmas 2025. So there's 3. We like guaranteed. and 4, because Future Doctor's got a... No, he was in... There's already been 3. Because Future Doctor was here.
Oh man, this is
wonder what the record of a non-multi-doctor special is. Oh, it's gonna be like November 23rd, 1966, because that's the year the first episode came out, and so many have gone back there, including obviously the first Doctor who started there. But yeah, I was gonna give you a point. Anything in this next year, feel free to just go.
Well, I mean, I kind of touched on. I think we've already talked about it, that Anita's a little weird about how fine she is with everything happening. The Doctor gets to settle
look
down. Look
great in that shirt.
Absolutely. Looks
the
stunning.
Doctor gives to give even more people their queer awakening. Or their straight awakening, I suppose. It's all across the board, honestly.
Everyone's going to figure something out, yeah.
Everyone's going to figure something out this era, yeah.
It's an interesting concept of the Doctor staying in one place, and yeah, I hope that it's the foundational stepping stone where he can realize that he should become the super fun Doctor. That's what I'm hoping.
You know, I've realized there's probably a future where my future kid, like, you know, they have friends in school, and they'll talk about, you know, how they always liked the 15th Doctor as a kid, and now it makes so much sense now that they're gay, you know? It's like... there's absolutely a world. It's like, oh yeah, you know, that one makes sense now.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, no, I don't think we've talked much about how great Anita was, though. Come to think of it, I don't even know why. I can't tell you why she was great, because really the most standout thing about her is the thing we don't like, is how like nonchalant she is about everything. Yeah. I actually gave this one a pass because at this point she's been with the Doctor so much, I think she would just accept it, you know? Like, yeah, why is my car... Yeah, like, it eventually, you know, stuff just happens and she's clearly... You know, it's the Doctor. Yeah, this scene right here, big mushroom cloud. It's like, I'll deal with that. Still the cheery music, of course. Yeah.
I think the more screen time that she had, the more I liked her. Makes sense. It
was just a good sequence. This is why I want the fun Doctor. I think it was just good seeing the Doctor have like a fun time when there's no adventure going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is what's been missing is
slice of life. Yeah.
The slice of life. Honestly, it'd be difficult, but I want someone, you know, it's a show that's been around for a long time. It's gonna be a long time that manages to pull off the episode where it's not an adventure. Yeah. Like, it's just a vacation. You know, there has to be a plot, obviously, but there are shows that have done that.
100%.
That you weren't expecting this, though. Like Avatar, The Last Airbender, has Tales of Ba Sing Se, which is just basically the people going about their day. They have different goals. It's if you don't know, it's like a half-hour episodes where the people have just arrived in like a city. It's been a goal to get there a long time. And there's a narrative break in the story. They've got to wait to see the king. And so they have an episode where all the characters are off doing their different things, and they have their own little stories. And it is essentially every single cast member's favorite episode. And it has genuinely like good little like 5-minute stories about the cast. And like, of course, it'd have to be different for Doctor Who. There's only 2 to 3 people, and it's a longer show. But I think you can get it. I think you can do it.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
There's an episode, Rings of Akatan, which, as I understand it, a lot of people don't like. But I do. I'm one of the few that do. But I think probably the first like quarter, half of that episode is just like the Doctor and Clara at a fun like religious festival sort of thing, multicultural religious festival. And that's fun. I want to, it's hard, but I bet you can do it. There's a writer out there somewhere in the world
100%.
who's got a beautiful idea for, because, you know, it's important to show, Russell. It's important to show.
Yeah.
Every time it's a little jab like that, it's in jest. Russell, Moffat, Chibnall, it's always a jest. There's a, yeah, because they reference it a lot. Russell would have them reference them. But every now and then we kind of see an adventure start, and then the Doctor has to go run off everywhere. But I want to see the episode.
Yeah.
And so, again, you were absolutely right. The ones that mess with the formula are always the best. I mean, you know, okay, sometimes there were. Like, there's the sleep tape found footage episode. Effectively a sleep tape that's very bad. Even people who like found footage are like, that's a bad found footage. But, you know, they're risky episodes. But when they are, like, the series that have them, one of them is always the best episode.
Yeah, 100%.
And even in Doctor Who, like the best episodes in the show where, surprise, surprise, we play with the formula, it's Blink, the highest rated Doctor Who episode. It is Heaven Sent, the best among fans, that is very different. It's Wild Blue Yonder, the best of the specials, that just felt different the whole way through. What's one you've seen that played with the formula? Have we had one in our watch-alongs? In our watch-alongs. I don't think we have. I think it's Blink that started it. They went,
I can't think of anything.
Weird episodes, you say. And I'm sure Classic Who is going to have some. I mean, it's a little harder with the multiple parts, but, you know, it's the different ones. Even if it's just like a different tone, you know, suddenly you've broken the narrative tone or whatever. But this was just a good sequence. And I think it could have worked very well for a Christmas special. Essentially, the Doctor, I don't know, learns the value of family. A bit weird with it's a lesson he should have learned recently, I suppose, but you could still demonstrate it. You could have had the opposite of that complaint I just went on with Moffat of, like, maybe you even have some sort of conversation where he makes a jab, and then the future Doctor, after going through like a year, is like, you know what? He's wrong. And he's gonna learn that. Or like he's about to get better, essentially.
Yeah.
I think there's I mean, of course, now we're just rewriting the episode. Let's acknowledge that. We're just saying this would be better if it was totally different. But I think that would have been really cool. Or just something to that effect would have helped my complaints. Dang, now I'm going to feel robbed. David Tennant literally fell in my Doctor rankings because someone gave a better pitch for his final episode. It's like I'm gonna ruin the 50th. And don't worry, in my Doctor ranking video, I will bring it up, and I will bring it up in our watch-alongs because it is so much better. But I'm like, dang, I now feel robbed. I did want to bring up, though, this is one you won't have context for. The line, I'm pretty sure it is this scene, of like, I always wondered what it's like living day to day.
Yeah.
Right? Boy, howdy, when we go to Reddit, is it going to be one hoot of a place. So I've basically told you everything that happens except for how it happens with how the 15th and 14th Doctors work. The 14th Doctor, I've mentioned, is off living, doing therapy right now, right? Yeah. It's not a traditional regeneration. I will say that much.
Yeah, I think
have I just told you this? Okay. You know what? I'm going to put the thumbnail on screen. If you don't want to hear about 60th Doctor Who anniversary stuff, the thumbnail's going to be gone when we're done talking about it, which, to be fair, might be a while. Maybe go get a snack. The 14th Doctor bi-generates, right? He's now bisexual. Really? No. He I mean, he is. But he essentially splits in half. And you still have the 14th Doctor and the 15th. I must have told you about this then. Mm-hmm. And the 14th Doctor goes off to go to therapy, and the 15th Doctor, they duplicate his TARDIS, don't question it, and he wanders off. There's a lot. Unless you really want me to, I will probably not go into what Russell's intent was. To be as brief as possible, though. You know, Russell is playing very loosey-goosey with the idea of canon and even the fourth wall and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Russell's mind essentially is seems to be Ncuti Gatwa is the 15th Doctor. You know, he's number 15th. Doctor Who's a TV show. There are 15 asterisk actors to play the Doctor. Well, I guess even Tennant. Yeah, whatever. He's number 15. That makes him the next one, because Tennant was 14. He is now the current actor. That makes him the current Doctor. And 14's not the Doctor anymore, right? Not David Tennant. Of course, that's a explanation that relies not at all on the in-universe ramifications of this action. So they never really explain what bi-generation is. In fact, they don't. The explanation is it's a Time Lord myth supposed to be impossible. The episode then takes some time to establish the whole therapy thing, the thing between the 14th and 15th Doctor, right? Mm-hmm. And about half the people online will tell you it is stupidly obvious in their first assumption that the 14th Doctor will one day die, because, you know, he will. He'll regenerate, and then somehow go back in time to, like, that moment of the bi-generation and become the 15th Doctor. It's still a line. It's an unbroken line, right? The other half will call that first half insane, say that's nowhere in the episode, and they're just, like, a branch, you know? Maybe the 14th just dies. That's what the novel, I believe, says. The novelization is like, he'll just die and not regenerate. Don't ask why. I think Russell wrote the novel, but fact check me on that. And, you know, there's now, like, two concurrent. There are theories what happens to 14. That's the thing, right? The problem is they are both right. Oh. There is an equal number of lines that are totally contradictory to each other that say the 15th Doctor is after the 14th Doctor in, like, some sort of linear, from the Doctor's perspective, timeline. Uh-huh. And there are also, like, an equal number of lines that it's a branch. There's an episode in season 1 where he's like, or 14, my soul split in two. You know, it's literally two now. In, I think, the Devil's Court. I'm probably done with spoilers now. So, you know, there's a lot of that question of how the 14th to 15th Doctor reacts. The 14th Doctor goes to therapy. And he literally spends, I mean, he's kind of still going on adventures, don't question it. He literally spends, you know, his entire life, don't think about how that's going to be longer than, you know, the humans he's with. His entire life with, you know, that family and healing and going to therapy, right? So if the 15th Doctor experienced that, he should know what living day to day is like. Very recently, like in the past year, from his perspective, he should know what that's like. Mm-hmm. So the fact he doesn't, we're going to throw in the half-human bin and ignore, because I think the show is worse off if through magic the 14th Doctor, it's not a line. Or Cap 14 somehow. Like, put an end to his story. There are ways to do it. Big Finish one day is going to do it, and we're all going to be happy. They did it with Missy. It's good. We'll be happy. We can sleep at night. Also, it's a moot point anyway, because the third Doctor lived multiple years, stuck in the 70s. He didn't know how his TARDIS worked. The 12th Doctor spent 80 years at a college because he literally could not leave Earth. He never left Earth or time traveled. He wasn't allowed, and he didn't. The 13th Doctor spent 5 years in prison, which I guess is not the same, but technically it is living day by day. The 11th Doctor, as I mentioned, spent a year in, the whatever the heck it was, the Power of Three. The classic Doctors were regularly seen to just, especially the first, just live somewhere. When we meet the first Doctor, he's just living in the 60s because Susan wants to. They spend, a few months living in Rome. You get the sense the other Doctors genuinely, they have a favorite planet named Orion that's just a tranquil place they like to hang out. The idea the Doctor never stops moving is, quite frankly, it's Russell T Davies how he likes to view the show. You'll notice with 9th and 10th Doctor, there are very few scenes set in the TARDIS. There are no scenes set in the TARDIS outside the console room, barring the 10th Doctor getting his outfit. Yeah. You never see the Doctor companion rest, really. There's they sleep in the Shakespeare Code. That's one of the few. Donna has a spa day. The 10th Doctor almost dies. It's stuff like that. Oh, actually, yeah. He also spent a while in Blink living in New York, which probably not exactly the same. I get it. But the 12th Doctor thing is, I'm just putting that out there. To be fair, when it was the 9th and 10th Doctor, it worked. Because, the Time War is a big event, and Steven Moffat hadn't written most of the scenes I have mentioned. Now, it's just doesn't really gel, and it bothers me. Yeah. And also, I've realized Steven Moffat wrote this episode, so it doesn't even matter. I don't know why I'm complaining about Russell. So... Hey, maybe it was a mandate from Davies. I don't know. Moffat watched the 6th. I don't know. I guess Moffat thinks that 14 and 15 are different dudes. Yeah, one of them. By the way, it is very clearly established that the 15th Doctor is the Doctor. Don't get me wrong. He has all the memories and experiences and yada. He is the Doctor. Yeah. The problem is that by the same logic, so is the 14th Doctor. So don't. He's not a new dude. I don't have to think too hard about it. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. The argument isn't 15 is not. It's that 14 also is. Yeah. But hey, one day Big Finish will come around and save us all. Help me, Nicholas Courtney. You're my only hope. I really wonder what do the fans think we like this or not when we get to our number rankings? Here's the Doctor in America. Rare sight. Now we're back. Unless there's anything you want to add, this whole hotel sequence.
I don't think so. I think I said my piece.
Yeah. You really liked this bit. I don't know if you want to add more about
when it comes to just Joy's place in the episode, I think this was her moment, and I liked that. It's weird that I remember talking, I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, but I think it was a topic of conversation when COVID was a thing. It's oh man, one day they're going to make movies about COVID. This is being part of COVID exists in this TV show that's a thing now.
So I have seen that once before in Big Finish. Apparently, I have not listened to it yet. There's an 8th Doctor story called Stranded that is set during COVID. Because Big Finish really loves when all of its big-name actors are stuck at home and can't act. We got a lot of David Tennant during the COVID years. But apparently the 8th Doctor caused it, I saw someone say, which is a very weird way to go. Citation needed. I have not listened to Stranded. But... So apparently there is an in-universe cause for COVID. So the Doctor killed Joy's mom, apparently.
So yeah, that's his fault.
Don't look it up. Don't cite me. No, this is fact now. The Doctor killed Joy's mom.
I can run with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll listen to Stranded one day. I'm a little pooped out on 8 being a big old sad sack. I'm sorry, 8. You're good, but get over it. I know Time War. Give me something new.
But yeah, it was a good sequence. I like
Yeah.
it.
I have just thought though, why this door is like horribly rusted when presumably it's in Rome, which, to be fair, is still ancient, like by the time of Caesar. But I just wanted to point that out. And also, they didn't have budget for that door. Maybe they should have filmed it somewhere else.
That's a very important room.
That's just like I say I had that door in my house if my house was newer.
That's that floor's janitor closet. Right,
oh yeah. That's the. Does the Time Hotel have a locked door for a future Time Hotel?
Whoa.
Like, can you stay in not in one of the hotel rooms, but in the hotel itself?
I'm gonna have to say this exists. Yeah.
It's like that. Welcome to come to the Time Hotel. We know we'll still be in the business to the future because hotels today have locked rooms.
Room 37. That's us in the future.
Yeah,
we're doing
good. we're doing good. That's us. You mean that is my house? You can stay in my house. The printer's running now. It won't. Is it running now? The printer's done. No, you can go. You can look at my Mewtwo ball. Yeah, it looks like it worked as well. People are gonna find that really weird if they don't know I have a 3D printer. It's like, the printer's done. It's like, what do you mean? Well, actually, again, this is another instance, this whole scene where he's making Joy angry. That is this scene. Again, just depth. I don't want to say a darker side to the Doctor. That is what they are adding, and that is what every Doctor has had. Mm-hmm. Every single Doctor has had a darker side, and I think that is important. It's just, I don't think I can define dark in this sense. And so I don't want to say darker. I think it's very important we establish what a darker side means. Yeah. But I do think something called a darker side is important.
I don't feel like this here is an implication of his darker side per se. Because I kind of get it. Like, I feel like it makes sense in the story if he's got to rip her out of this trance, get emotional. It makes sense. And he wasn't the happiest.
The take that, again, a lot of people think this is core to the Doctor, and I believe it is what they are going for, is that the Doctor and you're watching 10 go through this right now, and he genuinely is going through this. The Doctor sees the big picture. He has done this for so long that he looks at the big, how do we stop the bad guys? He looks at, like, I need to look at this case, right? And he doesn't think, I need to look at this case. I have 20 seconds, but how's that going to affect Joy? He doesn't think, I'm in Joy's hotel room, but this briefcase is important. He doesn't think I need to make Joy angry, but it's going to be hard for me to do it. He does think, how's it going to affect Joy? Like, his first words out of the... Well, admittedly, not his first. That is important. His first words out of the trance are, let me show you why I did it. Look at the briefcase, and I am sorry. So, he did think. But it doesn't seem to be difficult. He's like, well, I got to do it. And a lot of people see that as a core aspect. Like, the companion, essentially, their role in the story is to be that look at the little details. You watched Rose do this with 9, and of course it really made sense because he just came out of the Time War of, like, my boyfriend might be dead and you didn't even think of it or remember his name. The companion's the one who pulls him back and goes, no, Doctor, look at the little people. I disagree with the take. As I've said, there are definitely cases where it happens. But I disagree with the take that's important. A lot of people cite a scene from Pyramids of Mars that is demonstrating the exact opposite. Is demonstrating that the Doctor does care about and think about the little people. In fact, he remembers them a hell of a lot more than you do, and he's going to live with that for the next 10,000 years. But he also understands what you just said. It had to be done. Like, he had to look at the briefcase. There's a brilliant scene in the 12th Doctor era that, knowing I don't like a lot of the spikier stuff they do with him, people I think are going to expect me to critique, but that I am not. There's a scene, it's Into the Dalek, something like that. That's the name of the episode. 3 guesses what it's about. It's not about Dalek fornication, but it's it's the Flash. It's about this guy. There's basically these little bots that are going around this guy, right? They're like Dalek antibodies. Spoilers, they're inside a Dalek. They're tiny, but he's like, save me, you know what? Like they're gonna kill you. Like, you know, he's like, oh, save me, you know, quick, before it's too late. And the doctor pulls out a pill, and he throws, he's like, quick, swallow this. And the guy swallows a pill, he's like, what now? And then the microbes kill him, like, horribly. They, like, dissolve him in lasers, he, like, screams. And then his friends are like, what was that? I thought you were saving him. He's like, that was a radiation pill, so I can track something I don't remember. I wasn't saving him, he was already dead. I was saving us. And that's an example of like the cold doctor. In a sense it is. He didn't even try, you know? The 12th Doctor, I do like this aspect, is a very calculated, like, yes, I could try. It's not going to work. And like, you know, there's always the infamous chance it did, but he's got all these other people he has to save. And to a point, he did actually care, at least a little. Because he acted like he was saving that guy for that guy's sake. He's about to die. Yeah. He's not going to have to live with it very long. Yeah. Also, you could argue, you know, well, he's not going to say it if it says, you're dead anyway, take this, you know. But it shows an understanding, at least, of how the guy's going to react, his emotions. You know, he is considering it, even if it's for selfish means. And I do like that. I do like that in the 12th Doctor. And adding that to 15 could just be a little bit of depth he's needed. Because, you know, not every episode is going to have, like, you know, a church on Ruby Road scene. That would be a formula. I would get bored. Yeah. It's the opposite of... No, it is. It's the he always cries, therefore it has no effect. He didn't cry this episode. 10 out of 10. 3 times in this episode. He did? No. No, he didn't.
Yeah, when the Solarian dies at the end of the episode... I think when he's in Bethlehem.
He cries so much, I literally don't even notice.
Yeah, and when he leaves Anita, he cries too.
Is it just like a Okay, look. He cries so often, I don't even notice. It has no effect. You know, it shouldn't be every episode. It's the same thing.
Yeah, multiple times in this
But
one. Yeah.
That sort of aspect, you can see in his behavior, like, in your case, it doesn't matter. You're already empty in the head. You can see those sort of things. You can demonstrate that deeper character in every episode through those little ways. And so I hope, I mean, you know, this is a Moffat script. It's not a Russell T Davies script. And there are, you know, aspects of this, and particularly the 12th, but also the 11th Doctor. 11's the one who really had that self-hatred, and it would come to the surface the most. I mean, I think 9, 10, and 12, and probably, honestly, 13 all had it. It's just 11 really brought it out. But hopefully, you know, Russell's going to take some aspects of that. And he can. He wrote Church. Like, he can do it. So,
yeah,
we'll see. Going on. Yeah, this is the scene we just talked about. By the way, I'd like to point out this whole bit about when your mother named you Joy, do you think it was a joke? It is better. This is like one of the few scenes that was better on a rewatch, is because she stops when she does the mother. And, like, you're about to learn that, but you know full well why she stops. And, like, you know the effect. It's one of those little things. But later in the episode, she says, those things you said about me, every single one of them was true. So I can only conclude that, canonically, it was a joke from Joy's mom. That's, no, that's a little too dark of a joke. I can make it worse. You want me to say the joke? No. No, she doesn't want me to say the joke. But yeah, no, I do think this scene was great. It's a Moffat script, but the character work was the strongest part of this episode.
Yeah.
And with Russell, it's the plots this season, weirdly enough. How'd that happen? Russell, now we just need Moffat to showrun and Russell to write for him. We'll have come full circle. We'll do the reverse. Actually, I would genuinely like to see that, just to know what it's like. We've seen Moffat write for Russell, and that's Moffat at his best. Don't look at this episode. Oh my gosh, this is the first Moffat under Davies episode that isn't really good. Yeah, he should have quit last time.
Wasn't there only one?
No, there's like 3 or 4. There's the gas mask child one. There's Blink,
Oh, well, I was
the
thinking of the
highest
new-
rated Doctor Who episode.
Yeah, I was thinking of the newest season.
Oh yeah, that was Boom, which is incredible. It, like,
Oh yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. The highs of last season are very high,
really
but
good. Yeah.
Boom is at least tied for that top spot.
Oh yeah.
In fact, let me back this up. I gave Boom a 10, I think. No, yeah, Boom is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave Boom a 10. You also gave Boom the highest score of the season, and Alex doesn't count because they gave the finale a 10 out of 10. Their highest rated episode was Empire of Death, so we don't really listen to my wife. Oh no, she's probably home now. She might have heard that. So Caden,
Yeah.
I had a prediction about this episode.
Yeah.
I want to know if it was correct.
It's about the-
Is this your favorite episode of Doctor Who so far?
I got so excited. I don't even know how to describe it.
Oh,
I don't even like. Well, because
Oh yeah. Go on. No, go on.
It's like on principle. I need to be excited about dinosaurs in Doctor Who at this point, and so I saw one, and I was like, "Oh, this is it! This is the moment!" And I was like, I like in a meta way became excited because I was supposed to be excited. And then
Oh,
was
I
just-
see. You
And then I was excited.
you genuinely gave up on Doctor Who because dinosaurs on a spaceship was the peak. That's
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it was
no,
so
yeah.
over the top that they got almost mauled by a T-Rex that it became just the funniest. It's
do you think
hilarious.
Russell T Davies, again, he didn't write this, but has like a nephew or something now, is really into dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs.
Because this is the second time. We've had, in the past 2 seasons, we have had just as many episodes with dinosaurs as we have the entirety of the rest of Doctor Who. And that's not true, because I think there's a dinosaur in 42 or not 42 something. It tripped me up on Doctor Who the other day. Oh gosh, I'm not even sharing the thumbnail. It tripped me up on Doctor Who that there was a dinosaur. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking Classic Who. Classic Who has 2 dinosaurs. And they're both in the same season. It's actually kind of funny. Season
This is
7.
a good-looking dinosaur, though.
It's a bit blurry, paused.
Well,
CGI always looks bad when you pause it. But yeah, it was a good dinosaur. I cannot wait for dinosaurs on a spaceship with you.
in my head, I thought that they were gonna be chasing after this dinosaur to
Dinosaur.
get the T-Rex, and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be
Oh.
impossible! And how are they gonna do it?" And then they just waited for it to die, and that really, I don't know.
It had a death of a dinosaur this episode. Maybe the
wasn't-
first. I don't think so, but a dinosaur. Did one die in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship? I don't know. I can't remember. That's too sad. That's Chibnall wouldn't do that. There you go. I have faith in Chris Chibnall in something. It's not killing a dinosaur in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
You think
Um,
the hotel staff? None of the other rooms were made, but the hotel staff must have been the ones to make
Oh,
this
yeah,
little
well,
room.
It could be a Silurian thing, I guess. Thinking about it, but I assume they made it. Yeah.
They didn't make any of the other rooms.
Do you think the Silurians would have come across this then, assuming they didn't make it?
What
It's
is
like,
this?
what is this? The Silurians think there's an ancient race that lived on Earth, but it's actually them. We're the future race that live on Earth. I like that it's Villengard, which I know isn't pronounced Villengard, but I forgot how it's actually pronounced.
I think it's Villengard, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's quite Villengard. I don't know. I like it. We haven't seen it since 9th, but I kind of like this recurring. It helps kind of keep
Yeah,
a
I mean,
universe, you know?
It felt as much as the briefcase was kind of the big bad, I felt like one of the least. I don't know.
Well, it's a nice
smallest
touch.
part of the episode.
It's a nice touch. You know, that's all I'm saying.
It was a vehicle for plot, and I was fine with Villengard. Yeah, it makes sense. They would do this.
Well, it doesn't make sense, but that's later. It doesn't make sense at all. No, it's totally nonsensical. I'm
makes
not
sense
sure
if they
you've
would
realized
want
how
to do it.
nonsensical, because I've had 3 days to think about how nonsensical. It's still Christmas morning, of course, but I got an early copy of the episode.
If anyone wants to create their own energy source, they would try.
Okay, do you want to talk about this now? Do you want to talk about the nonsensical plot? All right.
Yeah, we could do it now.
Let's start one. First off, I'm just going to accept that this is the best way to do what Villengard wants to do. The briefcase that mind controls people. I've been thinking, like, they've got robots. Why not send a robot? Well, they probably want to be stealthy. They don't want people to know this. Why not send one of their own employees? Well, I guess I'll just accept that someone has to, like, trigger the briefcase. Actually, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I'm just going to accept it for some. Maybe they've got to fine-tune some details. I'll accept that, because there's far bigger problems as well. First off, Villengard is making a sun, right? We're not really told... Okay, Villengard probably exists in a solar system, right?
Yeah.
They're a big military corporation, super rich, they're arm dealers, they want security, they've probably got their own system. That's probably got a sun on it, in it. You know? As they have right to point out, it is functionally infinite energy.
There's so many stars in the universe.
There are a lot of stars in the universe.
Yeah.
Why not take one of those? And the episode tries, right? This is a custom, made-to-order energy source.
Uh-huh.
I don't see how that could matter. It's a star. I guess, yes, it puts out exactly as much energy as you want, but that amount of energy is functionally infinite, and like every star does that. Is it the right frequency, wavelength? There are a lot of stars in the universe.
It could be in a specific spot.
Yeah, that was my other thought. But I also just realized that specific spot is where Earth is, which is, I guess for one, it already has a sun, and they'd probably collide, and that would mess up your ratios. But where it ended up is so close to Earth that it is by far the brightest object in the night sky. We'll get to that plot hole, but you get this problem a lot with like races that invade Earth or like a planet for any sort of resources. There's a lot of planets. Like even in this solar system, there is probably at least one other planet that does what you want it to. Like, why here? It's just so much effort, even if you don't care, which Villengard doesn't. And I'm just assuming that Villengard is a non-human corporation, because then that is a paradox. And I know he said it's paradox-proof, but blowing up the planet that the time hotel is on before it is built does seem a little too much. But I will just accept it, because it's your time travel rules. You know, go ahead. Also, although the Anglican Church does buy from Villengard, so presumably humanity is a big customer, although presumably, again, not their... Look, I have questions about how this would affect the universe, but I'm not going to critique the time too much because we don't actually know the time travel logic. But Villengard can probably just get a sun. It is worth pointing out that Time Lords have functionally unlimited energy and godlike powers because they essentially did the same thing. Maybe Villengard is trying to do that. They have the Eye of Harmony, which is like a sun frozen at the moment of collapse into a black hole. Don't ask me how they get infinite energy from that, but, you know, they're Time Lords. They're basically gods.
Sounds powerful,
yeah. You know. What else was there? It's a little odd that they would beam the message to, like, the last case holder as opposed to someone just at the time hotel. Again, if they do have to die, it makes more sense. I'm not sure why the last case holder would do what they say or why they wouldn't die. I guess you could make that optional. They did at least mention there's an anti-pain measure, so not total monsters. Plot hole 3 is we've established they can go back to Silurian times. In fact, it's required for the plot they can go back that far. And Villengard appears to know this because they were looking for this old. But the Silurians were a spacefaring race, as established in, at the very least, dinosaurs on a spaceship. Guess who put the dinosaurs on a spaceship? But anyway, why not go back in time and, like, get a lift? Like, I get you don't care about the lives you're sacrificing, right? You're an evil corporation. But if you can do it without sacrificing life, that's still better because you don't risk the PR disaster, you know? Like, if Amazon could operate its business without, like, a functionally slave labor, it would. Because, you know, you don't get that bad PR. It's like, it would. But it can. Not at the prices, anyway. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
But, like, could you... also, this is possibly solved by Villengard not being a human corporation, which admittedly is an assumption. I would be surprised if we don't go to Villengard at some point. We can't defeat it, because that was a doctor before 9. Banana Grove, you remember. But Earth has time travel tech. And I know what you're thinking. The hotel can only go to certain points in time. But presumably they had to set those points up. You pointed out this hotel in particular. So presumably they have to have the ability to go to an arbitrary point in time to set up the link to connect to the hotel. And also they clearly have some kind of time, because, you know, the hotel exists anyway. Like, maybe we don't have vortex manipulators or whatnot, but it is a little surprising that time travel tech exists, but Villengard can't access it, the most powerful arms dealer in the universe. The star appears above Bethlehem. I get that, of course. But also across at least 3 seemingly random dates in the 20th century. So is it like appearing at an instant at all points of time, which is a concept I've never really understood, because that would kind of mean it's always there. But going past that, would that mean it's just always there throughout forever now?
Well, did it just... my interpretation was it became the North Star. Like,
it wouldn't... I don't think it's the North Star.
That's
for one.
Isn't that what they followed in Bethlehem to, like, find Jesus?
I thought it was a special star the angels made.
I thought that was the North Star. And I thought they were saying that the North Star in not only biblical mythology, but the rest of the world.
Was the biblical... Well, first off, I'm pretty sure the North Star, we could probably find a record of existing before 0 BC. The Star of Bethlehem, wise men from the east traveled to Jerusalem. They met the king. Oh, God, this is going to take a while. Wait, isn't Bethlehem in the southern Bethlehem? That's much easier. Is Bethlehem in the southern hemisphere? Bethlehem is... Oh, that's firmly in the north. That's midway. For those of you at home, that's the north.
Yeah.
Would the North Star be up at night? I guess so. I don't know. Citation needed.
I'm not an astronomy guy.
Let's give Mom a call. You know, you're... Hey, Mom, we're wondering
about the stars or about Jesus.
We're talking about Doctor Who, and we wanted to know if the Jesus star was the North Star. But I could probably, again, just prove that with like ancient Egyptian,
probably
astronomical maps.
Yeah.
But either then, the North Star is not that bright in modern day. In COVID, you would have noticed that thing in COVID. Of course, that's just saying Doctor Who is in our world, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I like Russell T Davies making people aware of aliens, so I like that. But, yeah. So also, if it's that bright, I could accept it if it was just Bethlehem. But, like, if that's a sun just burning there now.
Yeah.
I think that would have an effect on the population of Earth. I don't know this for a fact. I will admit. That would probably have an effect on, like, gravity. I don't know that for a fact. But this seems like a lot of radiation. Like, that is by far the brightest thing in the night sky. That's like the size of the moon, but a star. Yeah. So, but, like, I didn't understand this at all. This is the one bit I didn't follow. Like, is it that they're linked through the time hotel? But, like, why? I didn't get this bit.
Yeah, I can't say I have a answer on that one either.
No, this one. Hey, what do you know? It's the time travel plot of Moffat's plot that falls apart. I mean, it was the vibes, but like, you know what was ruined for me? The vibes, because I was thinking, what's going on? What's going on here? Yeah, but that one didn't really. We'll get to Joyce's mom. I did kind of like the solution that he used all the parts he'd already went to. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
You could argue it's convenient, but like if he went to 3 different rooms, he probably would have used a different solution that involved those rooms.
Yeah, I was thinking it wouldn't the train like started. This is such a useless thing. to
You
be upset about.
delayed the Orient Express and
Well, no,
changed
the train
course.
shouldn't have like screeched or had a hard time at all because the rope wasn't connected to any part of the train. But when he throws it down, it's like the train doesn't.
Okay, no, hang on. But it's going around this corner, right? So it is pulling on this wall of the train.
You think it would just demolish it?
But
it would.
It's an unstoppable force meets a movable object. But okay, but because I was thinking about this too, right? The train does not move relative to the time hotel. So that's fine, right? But the hook, presumably, is hooked to one of the rail segments, right?
Yeah.
So it also isn't moving, otherwise it would not have any force. But the train is screeching, meaning it's moving. But the rope is tight because the train is screeching. So is the rope getting longer by a good amount? How long does the train screech for? This is what people mean when they go to over-out analyzing. You were right. You noticed this.
I think
10
the rope
seconds.
makes sense. The rope wouldn't be getting any longer. Man, how do I say that?
But so imagine instead the rope is just tied to the inside of the train, right? The rope is taut because the train is screeching, right?
Yeah.
So it can stretch a little bit, but it's a rope. It's not elastic.
Yeah.
So one end of the rope is not moving because it is the train. Let's just say it is the train. The other end of the rope isn't moving because it's caught on something. But the train is moving forward, so the rope is getting longer. But the rope can't get... Yeah, no. Steven Moffat and Russell T. Davies are going to destroy Doctor Who.
This is unforgivable.
Christmas is retroactively ruined.
2025.
Yeah, no, it's off. They should just cancel their woke political nonsense. The rope is the power of the gays, I bet. We should just stop having culture. And on that note, no.
Anyway, small nitpick. But
yeah, no,
I thought about it when it was.
You're
happening.
right. No, that's a thing most people would not notice. No, the Doctor's very good with rope.
Because it was also cool.
No.
I mean, look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, Christmas save. The Doctor is very good with rope. Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. It does is this warped? What is happening in this frame? Like, look at how warped that wood was. Did you see that?
Aesthetic.
Yeah, it's an old train. Yeah. I had the moment though where I saw the murder on the Orient Express, and I went, "Did the book exist at the same time of the train?" And then I went, "Of course it did. It's a book about the Orient Express."
Well, I also
like the train did exist.
That's like the modern cover, but this is like back in the day.
Steven Moffat, how do you know? Like, there has got to be more than one cover.
Well, those Penguin edition books.
Was it a Penguin edition book? Hang on, that's
that cover.
That is funny. No, this is important.
Penguin is old. I think they've existed forever, but they're modern covers.
I need to see the book. Hang on, he's coming. It's before this. Okay, she's entering the cabin.
Not the shot at the end.
I don't think so. I think it's the opening. There.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
It is a Penguin Books, Agatha Christie. I love how it's old, too. To be fair, I'm pretty sure that the Orient Express still exists. I would be a little surprised if it's called that, because I'm pretty sure Orient's a little racist now. But Agatha Christie. I'm actually wanting the Penguin books.
I could be wrong. I guess that doesn't look like the.
They picked a cover that is also so obviously Penguin books that it has to be 1935. Ooh.
I thought that was.
What? No. They gave us a year. 19. It exists.
Okay. All right.
It exists. Did Penguin Books publish the Orient?
Oh wow,
Express?
Okay. The old cover did look like that.
They did their research. Yes.
They really did.
But that's 2004. Get out of here, AI. There you go. They did. Someone did. How long do you think that took?
Someone's job was to make sure that was right.
So you're right. No one would have noticed that, and the only people that notice it would assume it's wrong. That's the sad part. That's the sad part.
Oh, that's me. I'm wrong.
Okay, this door is just a tapestry. How do you lock a tapestry?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
But it's a tapestry.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on that.
Something about a stone, a round light bulb on a stone door. Just all those words were wrong. But do you have anything to say about little AI guy?
Not really.
I don't know his name.
Fine with it. Trev.
Okay, I was right.
I was okay.
I don't want to spend too much on it because it's a complaint I want to make about Disney, but I don't want to make it look like I think Disney made the decision. But it is yet another AI being shown in a really positive context that you're getting a lot from big media corporations that would really like you to see AI in a positive context so they can use it. And we had this with Boom, and in fact, the exact same resolution. I would complain less about that if it wasn't as big a focus of the episode, but it's fine. I only kind of realized it was just Boom again, like the day after watching it, in the future, of course, because it's Christmas Day.
Right. Yeah, it is Christmas.
Yeah. But, yeah. I also, this isn't a hotel, and that bothered me.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean,
To be clear, we've established... I skipped over 2 jokes I liked. God, I think I forgot one, but that's why there was no room at the inn was a great joke. And then it was set up. Oh, there's Moffat. There's Moffat at his best. I don't know if you clocked that, but both me and my wife took a sec and then went, aha! You know? No?
No, I don't think nope.
It's because it's Bethlehem. There was no room at the inn, so they stayed at the barn. The 10th Doctor got the last room. Well, the Doctor. I have this problem. I noticed recently, right? If the 10th Doctor says, I got the last room for Christmas, because yes, the 10th Doctor's also here at Christmas at Bethlehem on this day. And apparently something weird went on, because he was like, and here's what really happened, and then he got interrupted. I don't remember the point. Oh yeah, I assume the 10th Doctor was the one that did it, but that doesn't make sense. It probably wasn't the Doctor who said it, you know? Like when the 9th Doctor, something I mentioned earlier, and I'm like, the 9th Doctor said this. I want to think the 9th Doctor did it. Yeah, the 9th Doctor defeated Villengard. No, he didn't. We don't know that. We just know someone 9 or before did. And I'm trying to work on it, you know, because a lot of people care. I know. Yeah. But yeah, this isn't an inn, and it bothered me. Come see the show.
That they weren't. The other ones were kind of. I mean, they were borderline.
They were. Well, they were hotel rooms. Which one was? Okay, the Orient Express, but that is especially in the past, a very long journey. You do stay in the Orient Express.
Yeah. Everest.
But it was Everest Base Camp, so kind of like that is. It's stretching it, but that is you do actually like book those rooms, and there are different tiers. You can get really nice ones with like internet and TV. You could get like just cruddy tents. I think it's a non-traditional inn.
Well, then maybe this one. Okay, that's a tomb. You stay there for a while.
Yeah. Okay, but you don't intend to leave it. This is a forever home.
Well,
yeah. You generally leave a hotel room.
Sometimes.
I remembered the other quote though when they were like, "Why are you taking that climbing equipment?" And he looked at them and went, "Because it was there."
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that joke, but I don't think my wife did. I don't know if those were the original guys to climb Everest. I assume not, because there is a base camp. But when the first guy who successfully climbed Everest, when asked why, he responded, "Because it was there."
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty
Hi,
good.
Alex. Do you want to do you want to say anything about the episode?
It made me cry.
We're not at that part yet, but it did. In fact, jumping ahead a bit, your ranking was 8. It made me cry. That was the justification.
I don't know if that's points
Come
for it
here.
or...
Whoops, come here closer.
I don't know if that's points for it or against it.
Yeah, was it a 10 but it made you cry, or was it a 6 but it made you cry? We'll never know.
The world may never know.
All right.
Alright. Hi, bye.
You know, I recently finished the new Indiana Jones game, which is really good, by the way. But I'm getting serious Indiana Jones vibes the more we stay on this.
I see that.
I bet we could do a fun Indiana Jones. We've never done a, like, Indiana Jones episode. We did a bank heist one that's kind of close. What doctor do you think robbed a bank?
I mean, I could see Matt Smith robbing a bank.
Really? It was 12.
Or-
I can see Matt Smith robbing a bank. I can't see the 11th Doctor robbing a bank.
12. That's funny.
It was 12. He robbed a
I can
bank.
see that too. I can see that too.
I won't I won't tell you why. It's one of the good episodes of his early run. Yeah, the because it was there line. Oh, that's why it was all. Yeah, but see, look, it's pulling on the train right there. I don't know the force. Well, it's like a steel cage, probably, but yeah, I don't look. This is so overanalyzing a nitpick.
Yeah.
God, I was actually gonna say something new. Now I don't remember. Oh well. Who lit these? There you go. There's a critique. Who lit all those?
Yes.
What do those buttons do? You know who? It's the marketing. I love the idea of the military corporation, but it's like showroom capitalist marketing is so brilliant because you could tell so many critiques about the modern, military system. I know it's not American, but particularly like in America. But also, you can do so many plot things with because it looks good.
Yeah.
And like in universe, the reason is it looks good. Why does it have 2 separate 20-second countdowns? Because it's good marketing, and you can market how scared they'll be when the second countdown pops up. Like, God, I love little things like that. Can we talk about one? Apparently, it's Christmas, or the Orient Express just looks like that, or how the good ending for this woman is that she rips up the letter and doesn't go to this love interest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, toxic love interests, they exist.
But, like, we're not given any... I don't think we're given enough information. Like, surely the good ending would be... I don't know, they kiss. Like, flash... Well, then you couldn't see the star, but you're doing weird time travel stuff anyway. You fade to another woman, like... reading the letter. She can look at the star. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm supposed to... This is a historical thing that I'm supposed to know about, given that Mount Everest and, like, the Blitz are, like, the other events that are happening.
Well, the Orient Express.
Yeah, but maybe this person is far more important than I understand.
No. She's the famous Orient Express lesbian. Haven't you ever heard of her?
That could be a thing. I don't know.
I don't think the Orient Express lesbian is a thing.
Yeah, you never know.
You're right. I do not know for a fact that there was not an Orient Express lesbian. That's a thumbnail face right there. Yeah, I think. Well, we still got one more thing. Yeah, it was a bit it's a bit weird that like Joyce became the star, because this is the other thing. I don't understand Villengard's plan from this point on. Maybe it is fair to say I didn't follow the episode to a point. Like, was someone... Because I don't think someone was supposed to become the star. She just did it. But then why did Joy do that? Because she was hypnotized. She didn't know this was going to happen, did it? Did the other... I think it needed a little more explanation. It's too vague.
Like, it kind of happened.
It did. It just happened. And it's like... I feel like I needed a little more. It happened, and especially with the other holes, it needed a little more explanation, and right now it's getting in the way.
Yeah.
I did remind me, though, just saying that she was hypnotized. I'll have to pay attention. It might just be me, but I think Steven Moffat's getting a little grumpy old man in his older age. You know, he's not in charge anymore. You know, he's just a staff writer. This is probably his last one. But both Boom and this had some lines that were, like, pretty scathing anti-religion. And, you know, don't get me wrong. His era wasn't religious. The Doctor definitely has lines against religion. The 11th Doctor's got a line where he's talking about, you know, this two-headed race. And then the church, like, outlawed self-marriage. And he's like, well, that's the church for you. Mm-hmm. He's with a group of Anglicans. But, you know, he's got some scathing, like, you know, Boom had the, like, oh, so now you need proof. It had the whole thoughts and prayers critique. Like, at the end, it did kind of go, yeah, religion's sometimes okay. You know, he did kind of take his steps back. Yeah. But even this one's like, yeah, you know, hypnotism, that's basically how you start a religion. And, okay, is the implication, okay, now... the implication of Moffat, that the Star of Bethlehem, because the star emits, like, hypnotic beings and stuff, essentially hypnotized people into making Christianity?
I feel like the star only affects one person at a time.
He said influences people. And it takes more than one person to make the religion for that shrine.
If that's so, crazy...
That's... I don't know if that's intended. Maybe he didn't think...
I don't think it can... I don't think it would have made it even through that many layers.
Well, like, maybe it's a star, so it stopped now, right? But it's there if you want it, you know?
I feel like they wouldn't have shipped that.
That's my thought,
as the intended.
Is there a version of the script where the doctor... I mean, I can't see this, right? But the doctor's like, I always thought Christianity was bogus, and then, like, dabbed and walked off camera. No, I mean, it is basically, like, it's, again, not the first time. But this is probably the most explicit Christianity's not real, or at least not the, like, purest... Christianity is at least not 100% correct in Doctor Who. Because I'm pretty sure the angels made the star.
Well, I mean, even then...
There's a read where the angels are the evil military mega corporation that hypnotized everyone into making Christianity. You see what I mean about Moffat feeling a little spikier in his... Yeah. As he's gotten older. Or at least since he last wrote Doctor Who, he's like, what are they going to do, fire me? I'm not even working here. When he said this is his last episode, it wasn't because he wanted to stop, it's because he wrote that. And again, I'm not saying that's what Moffat intended. It's very clearly he's like, whoops. The 8th Doctor movie, right? No one saw the Jesus parallels. I know that means nothing to you, but I'm just saying, sometimes the obvious... You'll watch that movie and you'll go, they didn't see this? And I'm like, no, they didn't see this. They didn't see the Jesus parallels.
Pretty interesting.
There's a scene where the 8th Doctor is in essentially white Jesus robes, and he has amnesia, so he falls on his knees, and he looks up and screams, "Who am I?" And he's doing the arms out crucifix pose, and he'd also just been resurrected from the dead. There's a lot of Jesus parallels that no one... Yeah. And they're like, they're the commentary, they're like, you know, we didn't see it, and then we heard about it, and we're like, yep, you know, it's...
That's impressive.
It's there, but we didn't mean it. Yeah, so he could have missed it, but there's enough individual lines. I'm like, I don't know if even the 12th Doctor would have said that. And maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe he just didn't write enough religious things. Maybe the religion really did Moffat dirty in the past 10 years. I don't know. But that's something to look out for. He just feels like he's got more of a bite in his newer scripts. Like, because, you know, he goes after capitalism, but, like, that's capitalism. Going after religion is, like, you know you're getting backlash. You know, that's looking for a fight. And I feel he's going more one-sided, too. So it's interesting. Like, the Anglican military, I mean, that itself is a critique. It's that the church is usually militaristic. You're a weird blip of pacifism. Like, that's a scathing review, but it is also based in historical accuracy. This is more, you know, of an opinion. It's not, you can't objectively say the church was most usually militaristic. But yeah, this scene, I mean, the emotions are probably done well. It's just there's too much at this point, like, in the way of what exactly is going on for me, you know?
Yeah, I thought the ending was fine.
And I will say, with the Christmas special, at least for me, I feel, even being aware and trying not to do it, you're harsher on a Christmas special. Because, you know, it's the Christmas special. It's Christmas Day. It's a special day. It can't be bad. Like, Christmas is ruined if it's bad. Like, I can't imagine being in England and there's a bad Christmas special, like riots on the streets, you know? Yeah. Do you think in history classes they'll teach that, like, and the Doctor, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was so bad there was rioting on the streets, but really there wasn't, because that's often how it goes. Or there was, like, one small crowd of drunk people who, like, there's an incident report of, like, 5 drunk college students who didn't like the special just shouting about it, and they got arrested. And that turns into riots across the country.
That's how it's going to be.
That's how history works. And then, of course, when they talk about it as a religion thousands of years later. Right. I think that's a fun take for an episode, is it's thousands of years in the future after some, like, horrific world-ending event, and Doctor Who in-universe is a religion. Because the Doctor appears across so many texts, they basically assume he's an immortal god being, which, to be fair, right, he kind of is. Yeah. But, like, that's fun. See, this is the ideas we need, you know, when we get someone who hasn't written for the show before.
Well, I guess, yeah. We sort of had the Doctor Who fan club. I would love a Doctor Who cult.
Look, and that's when Russell was new. Oh, there you go. There's an episode that breaks formula, Love and Monsters. And I don't care what you say, it's one of the best episodes of the show. You know? Like, those are the ones you remember. You know, you do need the formula. Not the formula, but, you know, the other episodes. Mm-hmm. But you also need those every now and then. They're always... I was going to ask if 15's had one. Technically, no, but Ruby did. I mean, every episode kind of broke the formula. Like, Boom did. Dot and Bubble was weird in that the Doctor couldn't be there. Like, last season was the season of, what if we just don't have the normal episodes?
He's going to cry here. Yeah.
I don't know.
You can watch it. There's a distinct tear down his cheek if you watch it.
It might be later, though, because we're going to see all the stars. I know I'm putting the thumbnail up, but with the new stuff, look, you don't want to be in Disney. Zoom, enhance. I don't know, Caden.
It's not here, but when it's there, it is there, and you can 100% see it.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't even notice anymore when he cries. Look, that's the moon. Like, is our sun even that big in the sky? Like, I don't think it is.
Right.
It's got to be about the same size as our sun. And if it was just Bethlehem, like, okay, it basically Nova, I'd get past that. But what? I don't understand. There we go. I'm looking too much, and then I get it. Like, everyone's hopeful. It's bringing joy to the world. She's clearly having some influence, but, like, if it's all throughout. So again, like, is Christianity just a hypnotized woman because he even goes joy to the world. Like the joy was Jesus. It's there. It is there. That is all. It is very much there. I'd love the commentary 10 years down the line. It's like, no, that's not what I meant, but like I get it. You know.
Yeah.
I kind of struggle to see how you could read it another way though. It's like you have to try and read it to let Christianity still be at least mostly true.
See, I don't think particularly so, but I don't think it goes so far in either direction.
Yeah, I mean,
Float it up in the sky. It's a lot of hand wavy, like, yeah, it's Christmas.
I think if you want
really what it
Christianity
feels like.
to be true, you would have a problem with like even a little bit of Christianity being not true. That feels like a problem with religion. I get, a lot of people are like, well, the Bible's symbolic. But, the birth of Jesus feels a little bit bigger than, than just like, I don't know, Lazarus.
I didn't look into it too deep.
But it's not that deep, though. That's the thing. So, like, is whole of history joyful now? Is it only on Christmas? Was this Christmas?
Spirit.
Like, maybe that's the thing, but then, like, why does it only appear every Christmas? Did the experiment fail? It's like a yearly flicker. But then, like, why isn't it by, like, COVID times just some well-known thing? She looks out and is like, joy! But it's like, oh, yeah, there's the Christmas star.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's now a star that exists throughout the history of mankind, or it's doing a stupid, it exists everywhere at once.
It shows up. I think it's supposed to be every Christmas. I think that's the vibes. Because, the Time Hotel had a special, right? Christmas everywhere. I think that's it. I think what they're saying, I figured it out, is that basically the stars somehow, like, maybe because the places are physically linked, somehow, like, got into the Time Hotel and then went through to every Christmas. So Christmas is now a magical place, not because of Jesus, but because of the Doctor. All you needed, right, was a scene of some, like, flickery light, use the regeneration effect, but make it white. Like, go into the door, fly around the hotel a bit, and, like, all the doors glue. And I think it would have read. But I think that's the thing, is this is the Christmas star, right? Which also implies it went backwards through time, because, like, Caesar would be after Jesus. Yeah. Right? Caesar, because it's Rome.
Yeah, I think so.
But Rome was during Jesus. Hang on. He's, like, just about... Okay, no, Julius is before Rome. Caesar's before... No, yeah, he's just before Rome. Like, 44 years ago was the assassination. Well, from Jesus was the assassination. But yeah. I guess we've already talked about it being Bethlehem. Like, I don't know. I was a little surprised they did it. That feels a little close. Like, on Christmas...
Yeah, the biggest feeling I had was like, didn't think they would have done that.
I'm always a little surprised whenever Doctor Who... Maybe the British are, like, just a little looser, if that makes sense, with, like, religion. They're like, yeah, it's a show, whatever.
Yeah.
That could also be a thing. By the way, it's a beautiful Bethlehem. Since, like, Chibnall, Doctor Who has done this-ish era of history, like ancient history, really well. We had an episode half set in Syria that looked beautiful. We need an episode set like here. Not necessarily Bethlehem, but like ancient, past, North Africa, Middle East. Like it's every time it's come up, it has looked beautiful. Also giving serious indie vibe. You know why? It's because nowadays they actually use Unreal for a lot of CGI, Unreal Engine, because it can do real-time, photorealistic CGI. So, those, like, walls, those computer walls that they use in The Mandalorian, they do now for VFX. They kind of replace the green screen.
Yeah.
I look this up, like, every so often on stream and forget the name. I call them Mandalorian rooms, though. Whoops, I hit my mic.
Yeah, the big screen.
Yeah, they use Unreal for that a lot because it can do real-time rendering like that. And if you don't know, Unreal... is the video game engine that a lot of most modern games use nowadays, to be honest. The ones that look like this, especially. So it's probably actually is the same game engine as Indiana Jones, rendering similar things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up. Does Doctor Who use Unreal? Yeah, according to the AI, yes, the BBC science fiction series Doctor Who has used Unreal Engine for visual production and other projects. Yep, Wild Blue Yonder. The Eternity Clock used Unreal Engine 3. I don't even know what oh, that's probably a game. I mean, again, that's the AI, you know. Doctor Who there's video games. Unsurprisingly, the video games are coming up. But surprisingly, the video games used Unreal. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but yeah, no, Unreal nowadays is a great engine.
Yeah.
We have brushed up on the COVID scene a lot, but is there anything else you want to add?
Not really. I thought it was kind of interesting when she started glowing. But
I did want to check this. I was right. The hospital her mother is in is Royal Hope Hospital. You might recognize the hospital from from going to the moon. Sorry, that laughter on TARDIS Wiki, as you can see. See, this is little tie-ins I like. Oh my goodness, my computer is misbehaving. Royal Hope Hospital, which you can see, is a hospital which is located in London and temporarily the moon. I do. But yes, her mother was in...
Pretty funny.
Her mother was in Martha's hospital. Maybe Martha... Actually, Martha doesn't work at this hospital anymore. No. Stop me if I told you this. I think I just told it to my wife. I liked that it was COVID. Because that's a relatively recent, historical thing that is having impact on the world of Doctor Who. I like that. I want to acknowledge that I like that this is probably going to be very strong with a lot of people. I'm not sure it's what you want on Christmas, is memories of loved ones past. Again, I'm not sure about the Christmas vibes, but I feel that's a good opportunity to really tell a story. I don't necessarily know if this did, because that's the point I'm getting at, is 2020 was the real bad year, right? Like the one everyone's... 2020 was one of the best years of my life, right? In large part because of the pandemic, and with the enormous asterisks that we never lost anyone. We didn't have anyone seriously sick.
Yeah.
We were very lucky. Obviously, if that didn't happen, that would have had a huge, change my mind.
A bit of a damper.
But just lockdown really fit my lifestyle. I was in college. My courses were better in the online format. And again, I'm in college as a computer scientist. I do not need to be there. Like, my work is on a computer. But I meant I got to be back in Spokane and not across the state. So I got to see my now wife. So my experience with COVID could not be further than most people's.
Yeah.
To be blunt, the worst part of 2020 for me was the repeated exposure to the phrase, "Now I know we've all had a rough year," which is extraordinarily selfish and yes, but that's why I might not be reacting to this scene as much as most people.
Yeah, the
yes.
biggest thing was just such the weird, like, COVID becoming displayed as the past in media.
Is this the first historical event we're seeing that was like our lives, I was alive for 9/11, but like I was in diapers. I don't remember it. I know where I was on 9/11 because my mom told me, I think this is, you've had like Obama, you have presidents in the shows, but I genuinely think this might be the first historical event I witnessed that's now being presented as a historical event.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
I don't know. It's a little less weird for me because as I said, I had that Doctor Who story. Don't get me wrong, that first Doctor, hearing the first Doctor talk about COVID, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, that's always weird. I've mentioned before, listening to modern Third Doctor stories when he actually knows the future. There was a Big Finish story, because I usually listen to them in order, so I'm on 10 to 15 years ago Big Finish, where I bought a new one. I think it was Classic Doctor's New Monsters. In the fifth Doctor, someone mentioned future incarnations. He's like, the Umbrella Man, the skinny guy, the woman with the coat. And I was like, wait, did Big Finish just talk about the 13th Doctor? That's not supposed to happen. And I looked, and she had just been announced. And I'm like, Big Finish isn't supposed to talk about that Doctor yet. And so it just broke me a bit. Whoa. And now she's going to have her story soon. I got to buy that. Yeah. I maybe have to rewrite my section of her Doctor ranking. Yeah, I have probably got a million things I wish I talked about, but didn't. There was no trailer for season 15, which I'm checking the Reddit now, seeing if it's just on YouTube or something. It doesn't appear to be. Oh yeah. Also, if the sun always existed, so Villengard now presumably has that sun. I mean, they appear to have won. So would they bother making it? Did they always have it made? The rooms are physically linked. If we're going that route, which opens another can of worms for other episodes, but I think we can safely ignore. There's just a lot. There doesn't appear to be a trailer for season 15. Or it's not on r/Doctor Who. Although neither is the episode discussion. There we go. Oh, wait, yes, there is. Hang on. YouTube link. There is a trailer. It just was a special post. I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to put it in chat. Caden, do you want the trailer?
No, I'll stay.
I want to know if there's a date. Not in the description. Doctor Who Series 15 release date. 2025, according to Wikipedia. Oh, TARDIS Wiki would know. Series 15. TARDIS Wiki. TARDIS. Man, I'm really bad at typing. TARDIS Wiki. Season 15. Careful spoilers. I'm just going to search for 2025. May. No, sorry. That's a leak. We know there's a script that airs in May. So Doctor Who is like an 8-month window between the start and end of May. We don't appear to know when it will come out. Apparently there's a t-shirt or something that might spoil the major villain for... Look, do you want to know what I knew? I knew about the dinosaurs. I knew it was going to be set in a hotel. I heard there was a Moffat era something returning. Which, come to think of it, I don't even remember what it was. I think they referenced something. It was real underwhelming. And there's a 9th Doctor weapon returning, which I think was just Villengard. Very underwhelming. This is why I don't like knowing things ahead of time. Those are my whispers on the wind. Do you want to look at the Reddit? See, kind of, I want to get a vibe. Actually, no, we have something very important.
Never mind. Something important.
Yeah. Who dis? Oh, it's already open. Bam! This is where oh, wait, hang on. That's, full monitor. I need to make sure this is, okay, that's set up. Hide that one, show that one. Bam! The spreadsheet. Here we go. Let's just get this over here. There's not enough space. What do you mean there's not enough space to insert here?
I'm looking at the Reddit.
You're looking at the Reddit?
I can't see the spreadsheet.
Look, Discord says share screen, but it defaults to application.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come, which always sounded very impractical to me. But our averages, I don't know, I'll set those up later. They're clearly not working. Joy to the world. I already said.
Ranking the whole next season too that's coming out.
Why not?
Okay.
Joy to the world. Alex was an 8 because it made them cry. Caden, 1 to 10. I can also, I'll just sit on this page.
I could give it a loose 8. Yeah.
I was thinking an 8, but it's worse than Church. And I gave Church a 7. I don't think we can do this. Also, what happened there? Oh God. Why is 10? 10. God, what? I don't know what my wife was thinking. It's recorded. Season 15. I've decided it's 14, 15, not 1 and 2 now. Don't question it. It's what the fans do. What'd you say, an 8?
Yeah. Loose 8. That's a very important part of my number ranking.
A loose 8. We can do like points. I was real pessimistic. I looked back at season 1 and went, that's low. 7.9. Because it did. I don't think it should get an 8. An 8 is like the baseline. An ace is a baseline. Well, an ace is a base. Yeah, that's why I have decimals. It's like an 8, but there was just too much in the plot. You know, too much.
I see that.
And I'm gonna think I'm so critical. Equals average of, it was probably 7.99. That didn't work. Equals av. Isn't it av? Equals av. Oh yeah, reg. You spell it out.
You spelled it wrong.
7.97. Yeah. IMDb. Joy to the world, Doctor Who, IMDb. I think this is fair. What do you think? What do you think the general population who would go to IMDb and rank this episode 2 days after it came out gave it? 1.7 thousand reviews. What would you say? Guess.
Either a 6, somewhere in the 6s or the 9s.
Wow, that's two very different. 7.2.
Oh, it's basically in between those two.
That is the current ranking of IMDb. I think that's fair. I think I should have been harsher on this episode. I'm already disagreeing with myself. And I also thought, right, this was something Caden and I think we talked about on screen. It's been a year. It's been a year now. What have we settled on for Church? Before, they got 6.9. People hated the Goblin song. I don't know. I'm going to Google it. Road IMDb. It took me to a weird place when I searched on IMDb. Okay, do you think it got better or worse or stayed the same?
I'll bet it got a little better.
It changed by 0.1.
Ooh, judging by what's highlighted, I feel like it went down.
You know what? That's some good deduction there. It went down. 6.8, man. You
not funny anymore.
You have to never underestimate the hatred some people have for musicals. I think that's important. I think you can't underestimate the hatred some people have for musicals, because even great ones are bad. And this is something we're going to do, because people love the spreadsheet. This is the peak viewership of the stream, is every time we do an episode, we're going to come back to season 1 and see how it's changed over time. Space Babies has not gotten better. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to out and say
I believe that.
You know what? Actually, I could see it, though, because Space Babies isn't that bad. Hot take. Space Babies is heavily criticized because of the expectations, because of the importance people put on the first episode, and that is all context that leaves with time. But yeah, 7.2. We don't know the titles of any of the other episodes unless they've been announced in the past, day. We now know there is spoiler stuff out there. We might run into it looking at the Reddit.
Yeah.
But you don't have. I mean, we don't have to, but yeah,
No, we can get some clients.
people loved Anita. He probably spent more time with Anita than Ruby. I don't think so because a lot of time skipped, but quality time. It's all Anita. Everyone wants. Alex said they wanted Anita to be the next companion. I didn't get companion vibes from her. A companion would have questioned.
Wasn't the most depth to Anita, really. I liked the character, but
She wasn't given companion vibes.
yeah, could be.
And that's
maybe.
okay. No, that's okay. No, a companion would have questioned. There's a you need to hit some bars to be a companion. It's certain boxes. I noticed this. He added the location and years to all the things. This is why I like the Reddit. It reminds me of the stuff I've got to bring up. This is something Chibnall did. He did like all the time, and it became, especially with how negative he's seen anyway, something he got made fun of a lot. Is like, oh yep, name of the place in big yellow font. This is a Chibnall episode.
Yeah.
Because he also loved bouncing around the world, so you'd have a lot of those title sequences like in an episode. So it's funny to see it in like a not Chibnall script. Anita is greater than Joy.
I could see. Yeah, Anita being the thing that's taken away from.
I don't even know if Joy really gave off super strong companion vibes. This is going in knowing that she's not the companion. I know who the actress is, and it's not her. But
I wouldn't say she did.
I mean, she could be. It's a modern day girl. I'm never gonna look at a modern day girl and be excited about a companion.
Yeah. I want a really interesting alien from some point in time.
Watch us get excited about a modern day companion now, because I don't know where she's from. I'm hoping if she's modern day, it's at least not England. I could be. It's possible, but I don't know. I'll be disappointed if they don't revisit the Time Hotel. I don't think you need it.
I mean, see, I'm a bit of a sucker because I think one of my favorite all-time Doctor Who episodes is in the hotel, the Infinite Hotel, I think.
The God Complex.
I'm immediately excited that this wasn't a hotel, and it looked so cool. So I'm a bit of a sucker for that.
I thought it was going to have Weeping Angels because they said a Moffat villain would be back. Oh, yeah, it was the Silurian. That's what they meant when they said Moffat villain. That was the other thing I knew was a Moffat villain. Oh, and I knew a Silurian would be in it, I guess. The more warm and fuzzy Christmas specials. Okay, so we had a debate last time about an episode you haven't seen last Christmas. Was this one of the warm, fuzzy Christmas episodes or not?
Warm and fuzzy they don't immediately jump out at me as descriptors I would use for this episode.
I don't think it's dark.
Yeah, it's not like overwhelmingly.
It made you feel a lot of not happy things.
Yeah.
And it had happy vibes, but not like so happy.
Yeah.
Here's a great one. The one everyone hates. The Doctor, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which I'm hoping you'll forget this description by the time we get there. Like, the premise is it's World War I or II. I don't remember. Doesn't really matter. And, like, there's a wife with 2 kids, and the husband's off at war, and his plane crashes. And she gets the letter that her husband's died, like, on Christmas Eve or something, real close to Christmas. And so the wife knows, but the kids don't. Because if she tells them on Christmas, it will ruin Christmas for them. They'll always think of Christmas as the day their dad died. That's the setup, right? That's sad. And most of the episode is spent in this kid's dead, dad is dead. Like, there's a brilliant line from the Devil Doctor where it goes to the woman and is like, you're getting angry because they're happy now. And you're angry because they're going to be sad later. And what's the point of being happy now if they're sad later? The answer is, of course, because they are going to be sad later. It's got a lot of heavy, but it has a good ending. It makes you cry. I'm tearing up now describing the episode. And I think it's a happy episode. Everyone hates it. It's a good episode. Shut up. That's the one everyone hates. If you ask most people if there's a bad Christmas special, they'll probably say that one. And I love it. I don't understand the hate. It's great. But, you know, it needs that sadness to set up. But it's such a uplifting ending, you know? And a lot of Moffat ones have that. That's Moffat. Twice Upon a Time is kind of similar. The setup is like a World War I soldier in a pit. And he's, like, gonna die in that pit. Because, like, he's in a standoff with a German soldier. But they don't speak each other's languages. So they can't tell each other they, like, mean no harm. Yeah. And so you spend a lot of the episode with the knowledge of, like, that guy's got to go back to the war. But it's got a happy ending that I won't spoil because you'll probably remember it. But, you know, the Christmas needs to have a happy ending. And I don't know if... I mean, I guess, like, Joy and her mom die and live together as a star is, I guess, happy. I suppose Joy gets to say goodbye to her mother in person, who then dies of COVID, isn't a happy ending, but there's a cathartic sweetness, you know? I think there is an element of, you're gonna spend time with your family if you live on the West Coast and not actually in the country this is being made in, on Christmas, and appreciate that, but also with the asterisk that a good chunk of the audience has probably, you know, experienced this. I don't know. It was an interesting choice for a Christmas special COVID. I mean, saving the mother from COVID, I don't know if that would have worked. That's a bit like spit in the face, you know, to a very recent trauma. A lot of the audience probably has. Moffat does like turning companions into different things. Not even companions, just people. Dalek, Puddle, Star.
I forget the butterfly scene. I don't even know if it was Moffat. I just brother.
Oh yeah, when she turned into like a dinosaur lady. Nicola felt a bit wasted. I heard you were right. Her scenes with like getting angry and stuff were real good. Sorry, the Russell changing canon. Wait though, this is another instance of a Moffat kind of companion dying, but not really, which Russell makes fun of in his 60th anniversary, and it's great. I've just most of Moffat's companions die, but not really. In fact, I don't know if Moffat genuinely kills off a companion. Well, Rory, but he does that several times, and he always comes back, so that doesn't count. I'm thinking now, God, what were the Christmas... No, for someone who, like, loves killing people off in the one-offs that he doesn't write, I don't think a single Moffat companion truly dies. They die, but not really. They always die asterisks. That's what happens. You know? Like, Joy died, but I guess she's immortal in a star, and we never addressed how, like, epistemically terrifying living as that AI for, like, 65 million years with no body and, like, presumably just a few other people for company was. Horrible. But it's AI, it's nice and friendly. Please let us generate our background. You know how expensive animators are. It wasn't, okay, Disney, I do not believe, even if Disney put in a note, please make AI look good. I don't see Russell doing that, like, to that extent as well. And the show has done it. Before, like, generative AI was a thing. There's the library episode where people kind of, like, echo in their little weird AI communicator thing. There are instances of this before AI. I think the only thing that just changed is that AI... not even what they're talking about, but like a different kind of AI is now a real, very hot and immoral issue. And that's the only thing that's changed. But it feels different because a lot of things, like you'll notice a lot of big budget movies, like the Disney movies and big pictures, are portraying AI very positively and the people against AI negatively. The Game Theory did a great video on this. And it's like, no, please let us use AI kind of vibes. Like, it's even going in episodes where it really shouldn't, like, it doesn't need to be there. Oh, God, I didn't even notice this. Did you notice Ruby doesn't appear to be in Carla's house? This appears to be a totally different set. And maybe they just demolished the set. That'd be weird, because season 15 was filmed at the same time as season 1, so presumably they had that set. So I assume she's at her birth mother's house. Maybe she moved out.
Maybe.
But I also had the casual witch mom, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but, like, witch mom. Not the great... Yeah, I think the consensus is Anita was great. That should have been the episode. So yeah, the art direction was beautiful. I mean, the art direction has been killing it since Chibnall.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's, yes, the Chibnall era did have some good stuff. It's just the things that didn't have Chibnall's name on it. Like, the practical effects, that set is one of the best sets I've seen. I desperately want that Time Hotel set as the main set for a show. I want to spend all my time there.
Good.
I know. God, I forgot about that one. The 12th Doctor also spent 20 years at a sort of hotel living day to day with River Song. It was it's their last meeting for both of them. But that's both of their furthest points in time. It's the last time the Doctor sees River, and it's the second to last time River sees the Doctor. The last time being, the episode we meet her where he doesn't know her and she dies. So yeah, there we go. It seems, 7.2, had a real good moment, but I want to go back and give it a 7.2, honestly, but we'll leave. It wouldn't be us if we didn't complain about, our own rankings during the episode. I don't know. Why do we do this? Why do we rank them? We both complain it's meaningless and we hate it.
I asked you if we were ranking them this season, and your response 3 minutes ago was
yes.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? We still have Mavity. I noticed that. The Doctor talked about, like, rotational Mavity, which I don't really understand what he means by that, but why not? Yeah, he said with the case, like, is there anything you can tell me to figure out where you are, like the humidity, the temperature, the rotational Mavity, and then he's like, I'm behind room 48 or something.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the Mavity.
Joins the episode I cried at club. I don't believe I did. Did you?
No.
There we go. It's hard. As I said, often their episodes, they're real sad. They'll make me bawl. Or not. It depends how autism's feeling that day.
Yeah.
But I think this one was a mix of not being able to relate to the COVID stuff as strongly, and also just the kind of confusion of what was going on. My wife absolutely did. This is an episode my wife cried at, they mentioned. Some people are cringe. I'm not the biggest fan of Mavity, for being honest. I'm getting used to it, but I also just don't like what it implies, that time is so stupidly easy to change, that implications, but it is Russell. Yes, I will complain about Russell T Davies doing that for as long as he is running this era of the show. When he's gone, I'm going to praise a lot of the other stuff he did. I'm going to do a lot of both at both times. That's not because I hate the modern showrunner. It's because I like a lot of what he does, and I dislike a lot of what he does, fundamentally. But when he is currently the showrunner, the things I want to change are going to be more prevalent. And when he is not, then, he's not writing the things I don't like, so they're not going to come up as much. But I'm going to be like, I like when when Davies did this. Because also, when we're rewatching old, I still have the same critiques of Russell. I don't have the canon thing, because he didn't really play with canon back in the day. But, he did in different ways, but, he was the canon guy. He's like, people are going to remember this. Man, I want a new guy. And, like, I'm enjoying Russell, but I want just someone who's going to be just so different. That's the fan, even while we're enjoying it. I think that's important, is that we are enjoying it, but that doesn't mean we can't recognize we need new blood. And there's a guy, a lot of people think he's doing a lot of the task. He looks like Russell might be training him. He's show running War Between the Land and the Sea. I want to say Paul Cornell, and I know it's not Paul Cornell. It's the guy who wrote Kablam and Paraxes. The problem is Kablam and Paraxes are not good episodes. And Kablam fundamentally... Kablam is they go to space Amazon warehouse. It's an overt Amazon stand-in. It's just Amazon with a different name. And the Doctor loves it, and they're totally uncritical of the horrific capitalist working conditions. And the episode ends where the evil corporation gives everyone a month off with 2 weeks' pay after establishing that they barely have enough money to get by, and they can only splurge on like a trip to their family once a year. And that genuinely might be one of the most scariest things I've seen in Doctor Who. And it actually made me worry for the people under Chibnall. Like, no, that's... I get Chibnall probably doesn't determine their salaries, but I'm like, this isn't okay. And yeah, it's awful. And I'm like, that guy, you want... Oh,
In charge?
Yeah, I mean, I would be worried if that guy became in charge. You know, maybe he'd be better on his own, or maybe, like, he's learned. The war between the land and the sea will tell, but...
Yeah.
God, and who knows? We could all be wrong. He might not even want it. He might just be, I don't know, Russell's bud, and he's good at his job of, like, secondary producer. Who knows? But, God, BBC, just let someone else do it. But I am enjoying this. I am.
Me too.
You know, for all the flaws. I mean, last season, the only complaints are, like, the big overarching stuff. The individual episodes were, by and large, really good.
Yeah.
And, like, all the Russell ones were good, I think, other than the overarching stuff. I'm not going to check.
I don't remember too many specifics.
Shall we wrap it up? Well, actually, we should say, I know you're still hostage. It'll be a while before we get back to doing these reviews of 15th Doctor. I think it's March. It'll be whenever, you know, the new stuff come out. It'll be the Sunday or Saturday before. We'll figure it out. Come back here. Subscribe. I know everyone says that, but that's how you'd know. We are doing watch-alongs of starting with the 9th Doctor. We've been going through. You're not in all of them, but you're in you're in all of them from the 10th Doctor. You're in almost every 9th Doctor. I think you missed like 2 or 3. Yeah. And then I decided, you know what, if Caden's not here, I'm not going to do it. We're currently on season 3 with David Tennant and Martha Jones. Next episode is Gridlock. Reminding me that I forgot to do a comedy episode name for Joy to the World, which I thought would be an episode about bringing, you know, joy to the world, obviously. Joy being, of course, just overwhelming yodeling. Of course, a race of, like, yodelers who just come to the world and, like, it's just overwhelming.
That's pretty joyous.
And the Doctor has to stop them. Well, it's overwhelming, though, you know?
It's too
like,
much.
we all love a good yodel, but it's just too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
and, like, on Christmas, is like, do you want a Christmas yodel? I mean, maybe, but
That's
it's just
too much.
it's not for everyone, you know? The more I say Christmas yodel, the more I, like, want one. But
but apparently it's overwhelming.
It sounds like a thing, a Christmas yodel.
It does. It really is.
Well, it's not overwhelming. There was 2. It was like the whole race. Yodel. Christmas yodel. Santa's yodeling song on YouTube. There we go. Yeah, there you go. See, there's a Christmas yodel. I'm not gonna play it for you because it's someone else's. But yeah, we're doing that. Are we doing that this Sunday? I don't know, like in 2 days. We never decided.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm doing anything else.
We weren't planning on it, but I mean, I'm also free.
Figure it out, yeah.
Well, you gotta figure it out soon. Like, okay, well, look here. Maybe we're doing it, maybe we're not, but definitely the Sunday after. I do Star Trek watch-alongs and reviews. There's no Star Trek for a bit, so we'll be going on with TOS. I need to order that thumbnail for TOS Season 2. I'm working on a Doctor ranking video. I just punched my mic, reaching for the USS Stargazer. It's finally here. I am reviewing that model pretty soon. It's you know, it's changing my opinions about the Stargazer. I'll say that. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot of stuff, but you know, stuff happens. You should subscribe. Lick and subscribe. Lick and subscribble.
Yeah.
I was going to say lick is in like, and then something that sounded like subscribe, but I just said subscribe anyway. Yeah, and I have to remember to cancel my Disney Plus subscription in about 29 days, and then renew it for the next Doctor Who, because that's how this works. But it's actually up in the air, it seems, if Disney will renew Doctor Who or not. They want to wait till season 2. I'd be surprised if they don't, because Doctor Who for Disney is like a dirt cheap smash hit. So it's weird, but they might as well wait. And technically the BBC hasn't done it, but that makes sense, because I don't think the BBC can really do it until they know if they have Disney money or if they have their money. But I think they're still expecting season 16 to come out 2026 somewhere on like TARDIS Wiki. So who knows who said it, but someone did. We'll see. But I will say thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. That's